Check. Welcome to the SPS podcast. You are now tuned into the Raw Bunch. I'm your host and moderator, DJ Strata. And Raw Bunch family, what's good with y'all? What's going on with you?
Javana!
Hey, what's up? How y'all doing?
Cool. All right.
Today been a struggle.
Yeah, man. This damn weather, this rain.
Man, fuck Mondays.
Bro. For real though.
Hashtag
For real.
Different type struggle. But we here, man. We got a serious topic, man. I think this is gonna be a good one. It's gonna be dope. Just to let the audience know, man, right now. So this pod, we're gonna touch on two different cases that are currently tied by the crowdfunding, and we're talking about the support. What does the support look like, and what does it say about what we're supporting, and what does that speak to about us as a society, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna run down the Carmelo Anthony case and support. We're gonna talk about how he was crowdfunded and the intentions of that. Then we're gonna get into Shiloh Hendrix. Her case was a very unique case. It was some wild, egregious shit. You know what I'm saying? We're not really holding no punches on what she did and how that turned out. But we're going to have to speak about the support that she garnered. And then also, we're going to do a quick breakdown of the Piers Morgan show with Dr. Marc Lamont Hill. Dr. Marc Lamont Hill is a co-host on the Joe Budden podcast, right? And they were speaking about how he kind of got tricked into even going up there to begin with, and that was Piers Morgan show. He wasn't aware of what they were speaking about or who was going to actually be the panelist. So it was kind of a shock when he showed up and the way that they conducted the conversation. So I got some quick footnotes we'll get to. But again, first things first. For those that are kind of out of the loop, I think I want to actually start with the Carmelo Anthony case, right? So let's get straight into kind of where we were with that and how we even got here so far. So we'll do a brief synopsis. So the Carmelo Anthony case involves a 17-year-old accused of first-degree murder after allegedly stabbing a 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a confrontation at a track meet in Frisco, Texas on April 2nd of this year. Witnesses reported that the argument escalated into violence, leading to Metcalf's death. Anthony claims he acted in self-defense, but his claim is under scrutiny due to the severity of the charges and the circumstances surrounding the incident. Following a bond reduction from $1 million to $250,000, Anthony was released from jail, sparking significant public debate about justice and self-defense in the eyes of the law. Now, because we're talking about crowdfunding, for context, as of today, when I did a little bit of research, I think that the original GoFundMe was taken down, and we're currently looking at Give, Send, Go, which is another way to crowdfund and support. It's an alternative, but it kind of works just like crowdsourcing. But I think that his pot had gotten up to $450,000. So let's stop it there. And I kind of want to get you all's opinions on, you know, a little bit about the case, what y'all thought about it. You know, do you agree with the crowdfunding form? Does it make sense? You know what I'm saying? Like just the case in general. So we'll probably stop the conversation, slow it down so we get more context on it. What are y'all thoughts so far?
I'm gonna let Giovanna go first because we don't see her enough.
Whatever. So I think I saw like a post or video or so. They said that she had somebody to speak out, like a witness, and a witness that spoke out or whatever, and it wasn't how the media or whoever was trying to make it seem like for the kid that actually did the stabbing. So it was more so of like in the fact of a, like, you know, self-defense. So with that funding, to me, they make fun of for everything. It seems like they be funding. Like I see so many GoFundMe pages, but I mean, if the family, I guess, if they really need it for support.
Okay. So you agree with them funding Carmelo?
I mean, if it's really like self-defense or so, and the family needs support or however, I mean, me personally, stuff like that, I would just take it. I'll pay it, you know, on my own, out of, you know, family fund or whatever case may be. But if they really need help, or is it just for the legal stuff, or is for the assaults and stuff? When that family get attacked and stuff like that too, was it for that too?
I think that, well, from my understanding, I think that the crowdfunding that they were doing with Carmelo, it was strictly to help get him the best defense attorney that they could afford. The family is pretty well off, or not well off. Let's just say they're doing pretty well for themselves. But they knew that if he had a fighting chance to change the charge from deletion to a self-defense or attempt, he would need a good lawyer in order to even make it stick with the judges. So I think that it was started initially to help with defense. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody was really arguing what happened, right? We all know what happened. We all saw that. But I think that the money, when it was originally on, remind me. So funny. It was originally for his defense, and so when they carried it over, I think that's the reason why it's there. Because I think that
Hey, Strata, I don't know if it's me, but your mic going in and out.
check. What about now?
Are you getting the same thing, Giovanna?
It was.
Check. We good now?
Yeah, you good now.
Perfect. Appreciate you. But yeah, the crowdfunding was for his defense.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Does that change how you view it?
I mean, no, if they need support for it, I really don't have a comment. I mean, if they really need, I guess if they need the support to get the best legal team, I support it.
Okay. CJ, what are your thoughts on it, bro?
All right, so boom. We talking about the Carmelo. First off, that nigga got jumped by some big ass polar bears. I don't care what anybody say. When they feel like he should have been able to just throw his hands and get his ass mollywop. Hell no. like I mean, if the shit had went down almost the same way, but nobody died, but they just got stabbed. Oh, that story would have been wild. Y'all would have been trying to fight for y'all rights to convince us that them two big behemoths was not in the wrong for jumping that little boy. 5'9", 130, 6'1", 225 times 2 because they're twins. Ain't no way you about to convince me that he was supposed to just throw hands. No. It happened the way it happened, and unfortunately, they lost somebody.
Yeah.
I don't want to be over here saying we up one, but
I ain't seen no video.
No, you ain't got to see it. If you look at the police report, the initial ones, and then the ones where they finally pulled teeth to get motherfuckers to really say what was going down, you find out in the second set of police reports from everybody, especially from the other twin, that yes, they jumped that boy.
Yeah.
When you hear the first ones where they couldn't get everybody's testimony, you only get like they were scuffling and fighting. Then you finally get another report that comes in. Well, you find out the other twin was there. Now, I ain't no twins, but I'm very confident that most identical twins when one will do, the other will follow. All right. It's extremely rare that they're polar opposites, all right? And they weren't. And then it was also confirmed by students' testimonies from the school that they are in fact bullies. I'm not saying nothing that wasn't said by other motherfuckers, all right? So for them to try to make it out for this boy to be this bad kid when he wasn't, fuck y'all. I mean, it's unfortunate that the boy had to die. I wish he lived, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If it was up, if I was able to write that event down, it would have been him getting jumped, him pulling out something, and he nick white boy, but white boy didn't die. I feel like the stabbing still should have happened. It was one of those like, hey, you pushed me this far. Lesson learned. You won't do it again. But this is what could happen. But he lives. That's the only part I probably would change in this story. As far as the funding goes, it's very clear that because they're black, that the funding was going to have some type of negative, connotation out of this. It was going to get a negative response regardless. That's why when they had that first that little opening meeting or talk or whatever, they were addressing that they never even did this. Those GoFundMes weren't even there. And you can look up GoFundMes. You can look up who created them and everything. Their names aren't even on it.
Damn.
They weren't on them. But the person that did it, that hit their goal, the one that had the biggest amount, they were the ones that said, hey, we hit the goal. We want to help you and support you. Here's the money. And then they was like, well, before we do that, we need to just address that, hey, we didn't make this. This was made by this person that was being supportive of us.
Right.
But they never got to that point. Ain't nobody care. Well, at least, those in the other community didn't care. They, in their mind, yeah, your son killed that boy and he needs to be locked up in jail. You don't need no funding to get him out, blah, blah, blah. But then you got the other crowd with the other people. They get funded for doing fucked up shit. That's crazy. And almost hitting $1 million is wild.
That part. We definitely
gonna that part is mind blowing to me.
Is mind blowing.
But yeah, again, different. Is different grounds for people.
That part. Let me ask y'all a question. Based on what Carmelo did in the moment, would y'all say that was an act of survival, strategy, or a protest to what was going on systemically? Do you think he acted out of survival, strategy, or protest?
I personally think it was survival. Shout out to my old man, my dad. He used to make me and my brother watch a lot of Animal Planet and National Geographic. Certain things you find out about smaller animals that get confronted by bigger animals. If they can't run, they at least show their fangs. They bark, they squeak, they make sound effects, they'll scuffle. Unless it's a honey badger. A honey badger don't give a fuck. He'll throw hands. Like, he'll throw hands with a mountain lion. He don't care. But outside that, they basically giving you, I'm scared, but at the end of the day, I'm going to give a fair warning in the hopes that you back the fuck up. And if you read those damn reports, you see that the warnings was done not once, but twice before white boy touched them. Then it was technically a third response after being touched. Okay? Nah. You still came at me. Now I gotta, it is what it is.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Peaches,
I definitely.
you agree? No, you good.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the survival because, like you said, the size and all that stuff, it does matter. And then, of course, how you actually fight back matters too. But like you said, it's very unfortunate that the young guy, passed away, from the reaction. However, but I mean, then he was by himself. So moments like that, you go for what you know.
Okay, so you think it was survival?
I do.
Okay, dope. Got it. Now let's talk about the crowdfunding part about this, because like I said, I wanted us to at least touch on it. I'm pretty sure most people are aware, but I just want to get that baseline, get our original thoughts, because I don't know if we ever did a breakdown of that actual case and it was happening. So now that we got the baseline set and we see what the money was for, do y'all think that crowdfunding has turned into the new way for us to get social justice done? And the second part to that is this a sign that the actual system is failing us, that we have to revert to asking people for paper to get any semblance of justice? Is that where we at with this shit now?
So originally, what was the original purpose of the GoFundMe? Not this one particular, but just like overall family.
I think it was more
when
like
you talking about when GoFundMe came out.
Yes.
Yeah, it was more like
it was for Hurricane Katrina. Yeah, I did the research on that. It was for Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah,
it was a way to for people to help them get help, financially when Hurricane Katrina kicked off. That's how GoFundMe became a thing, and then it kind of dispersed into just helping out people. But it started off with Hurricane Katrina.
So it's supposed to be like a humanitarian kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I don't really see too many cases where they're GoFundMe for like legal stuff. So I don't know, maybe just me. I'm pretty sure there may be some others out there too asking for some type of legal support or whatever. But so that one kind of caught me off guard when they were asking for it.
Got you. But do you think that, legal or not, that we have that crowdfunding has turned into the new form of social justice?
Social justice.
Meaning I've been wronged or there's a situation going on that I don't like. Can y'all help me and support me and you know what I'm saying, financially help hold me down a little bit. Has that become the new way of people to get social justice done?
I mean, to me, that's what it seemed like, because it's always like a GoFundMe out there for that, or either somebody pass away or so. So I see that people are starting to lean on it in that effort.
Got you. Now, CJ, my question to you is, being that we're here, right, to where crowdfunding is becoming a thing, is that a sign that the system, and when I talk about system, I'm talking about all three branches, the way we're currently running our government, how society is going, is this crowdfunding a sign that this shit is fucked up and that it's failing?
Is what fucked up?
The system itself. Is the system failing? And this is kind of like a knee-jerk reaction to the system failing.
I'm gonna say yes. Because if you gotta ask just your next door neighbor for financial aid, or basically strangers across the states or out of country, because GoFundMe you can set up to be international if you want.
Right.
But if you gotta do that to fight your case, to plead your case for certain stuff, instead of like having like confidence that the courts and the system is going to be able to help support you to get through this, then yeah, the system fucked up for sure.
Man.
Now it's more so fucked up on behalf of those that know, but it's fucked up.
Shit. That's
because if you flip it around to the other side, I know for a fact that a lot of them can get a not even like a public offender for free. You know, oh, if you can't get a lawyer, a public offender be provided for you. I know in certain states there are not public defenders, but D3 lawyers. That means that's a good ass lawyer that will just happily get you and support you pro bono. If you know what pro bono is, they low key don't even want you to pay right now.
For the free.
They just here to throw their hands in the courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
But the odds of that happening to somebody like this is slim to none. And I'm gonna be honest with you, they could be a black lawyer in that same position, and yet they're less likely to do it. But because to do that, you have to get approved by the courts as a lawyer to say, hey, I want this client. They're gonna ask you like the payouts and whatever the contract you got with them or whatever agreements you got with them. And if the courts is cool with that, say go ahead, cool. But they're not gonna just say that for the average high maintenance lawyer. Shout out to Tonga Ruffin. She told me that shit. Like that shit don't fly a lot for black lawyers.
Yeah.
So it's fucked up on behalf of those that can.
No, that's a bar, bro. I think that's kind of like you said, the fact that there are so many crowdfunding for so many different reasons. I think it is speaking to the fact that somebody is dropping the ball somewhere. Now, whether we want to blame the victims or the presenters of their problems, or the fact that societally, when things like this happen, we're not in a financial place to really respond. I don't know if I think that that's irrelevant to the fact that it has to happen. And I think that does speak to a failing system. Because, I mean, think about it. If Carmelo Anthony, all things considered equal, right? If we were in a justice system to where the charges could have been filed initially, and then after investigation or whatever, it's kind of like, okay, all right, let's kind of change these charges. I think that a need for a high-end attorney or defense wouldn't be necessary because it makes sense. Brittany, what's up? What's good with
Brittany got that damn Dollar General internet connection.
God knows, look, out here in the boondocks, I thought I was good.
Hell no, you like you in 480p. You switching right now.
She got the Windows 95 Wi-Fi and shit.
God damn. You got that dial up in the car.
y'all leave her alone. Hey, girl.
What's up, girl? Like, really?
Okay, it cleared up. The trees is gone. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what it was. It was the trees. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Damn. Yeah. Come on, 1080.
How's your day been? How was your weekend, Britt?
Weekend was good. Busy.
Okay.
But yeah. And day has been raining, but hey, we gotta make it do.
That's a fact. We got a whole week of that, so lock in and
Mm-hmm.
try to
I
stay
know, right? This shit about
boy.
to irritate me at work.
It's got my energy on nothing for no reason, just because it's gloomy outside, bro. Like this is big nap time weather. But anyway, Britt, let's get back to it. So
Right, Netflix and chill. Yeah, stack it.
that's a fact. Let's get back to it, Britt. So with crowdfunding, right? GoFundMe's. Do you
Yes.
think that the fact we have so many of them present that is speaking to our system failing?
You said speaking to our system. I didn't hear the last part.
Our system failing us. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. I was saying I didn't hear the last part about the system something.
Yeah. So do you think the fact we got so many GoFundMe's that is speaking to our system failing us?
No, because I feel like the GoFundMe for the young track star, I mean, that's truly to help him with all his legal fees and everything. Because based on, I mean, just think about it. Do we want him to really have a public defender? And granted, people are probably going to try to jump on to be his lawyer for publicity and all that stuff. But truly, he's going to need that for all the type of legal support that he's going to need based off of what he's being charged with. That's how I see it.
Right. But my question is, so because we have to get a pool of money together to even make sure he's represented properly, do you think that speaks to the fact that the system is failing?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. How so? Tell me more about that. I want to understand the way you're thinking about this.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at it as if we think it truly, most people can't afford or don't have a family lawyer. I'm just saying like that. So to get a good representation for you in the justice system, you need somebody other than a public defender. Most African American that go in front of the judge or whatnot, they get public defenders assigned to them. I've been working with someone closely, and when I say those public defenders are trash, they are motherfucking trash. Okay, so for him, to me, that money that he got raised or whatnot is going to truly give him a better chance of winning versus just the average Joe Blow that has 300, 34 cases in front of them, and they can't really invest into him and making sure that he get a fair trial.
Yeah, but wouldn't that mean that the system itself, not the fact he has the money, but wouldn't that say that the system itself is fucked up to where he has to go in his pocket for another $400,000 to make sure he doesn't get mischarged or mistreated? Wouldn't that say that the justice system is fucked up?
I mean, yeah, the justice system is fucked up, but to me, that doesn't correlate with the GoFundMe though. The justice system been fucked up for a very long time.
Okay.
So to me, the GoFundMe is just
saying.
to help him get.
Got you. Okay, you're saying that the crowdfunding is not a result of the system being fucked up. The system been fucked up.
Right, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Kiki, what's up with you? How are you? You on mute.
Kiki!
Hey!
What's good with you?
Hey, girl.
Trying to sneak in while, the little one around here running around and stuff.
For sure. It's all love. What do you think? Do you think with the Carmelo Anthony case? What's up, little one? Hey.
Little niggas trying to pod, okay.
I'm just trying to see what's going on over here. Yeah, what do you think about the Carmelo Anthony case, like, and him needing to raise that much money? Do you think that speaks to how messed up the system is?
Yes.
Why so?
I agree with Brittany. The system been messed up. They do, give you the opportunity to have a representative, but do that representative actually research and gather information to actually prove you're innocent in a case? I don't believe that. So him having to use GoFundMe to actually get a proper lawyer where he will have a fair chance in court as, the defendant, yes. Well, let me see.
That
the
makes
other
sense.
person. Yeah.
That's a bar. I like it. That's a fact. I think that I understood Brittany's sentiment. It made sense to me, but I think two things can be true, meaning the
Go
media
right here, Mom.
system speaks to how messed up it actually is. I think right now I want to shift into the choppy part of this whole conversation, which is Shiloh Hendrix, right? This was a case that just popped up recently, but I think it is worth kind of making a comparison to make the debate make more sense. So let's get into some of the details on what happened with Miss Shiloh Hendrix. So the Shiloh Hendrix case involves a viral incident where she was seen using a racial slur at a 5-year-old autistic black boy during a playground confrontation. Following this, she faced significant backlash online, with some supporters rallying around her, while others called for persecution for allegedly using the N-word. The situation has led investigations into her conduct, with local authorities looking into the incident for any legal implications. Now, for context, her Give Send Go to date has received $750,000. The autistic boy that was the victim of her calling a nigga is only at 341,000. Now, before I get you all's opinion on it, I do actually have a video that I want to show of what she did. You know what I'm saying? And so we'll get into that next, and then I'll kind of get you all's opinion and thoughts on it. Give me 1 second. Yeah, this is a little sensitive, so you know what I'm saying. If you're a little bothered by it, just know that this is what she actually said. This was actually done. So I'm gonna play this video and get your reaction shortly.
Call him a nigger, the child? Did you call the child the nigger word? It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say. Nobody digging to your shit. That little kid, you call him a nigger? The little child? Are you about to hit him? You chasing here? So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word. If that's what he's gonna act. That's what you're gonna call him. That's what he's gonna act like. That's a hate speech, and you can be recorded for that. I don't give a shit. Huh. Fuck off. Okay, we'll see about that. What the internet has to say about you.
All right, we are the internet. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't even know why she started a GoFundMe. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You know why she started a GoFundMe?
You said what now? She didn't?
I said, you know why she started a GoFundMe? Because that moment that thing got on the internet, whoever she worked for was going to want no parts of her.
Right.
She was going to lose that job.
Yeah, but guess what? All them people, because they had said that in that family that she'll never get a job again. That's a damn lie. All the people that is putting money on her books or whatever for her, they would gladly give her a job. It's plenty of people out there that probably feel the same way as her. They would gladly give her a job. Her current job maybe had let her go, but she can find another job.
I mean, yeah, you're right. She would find another job, but what would you pick, Brittany? Would you get fired today, do a GoFundMe, and make $700,000 in a week, or start a new job at Purdue?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'm just
No.
saying,
No. There was a question that needed an answer.
Well, you want me to play victim?
No, not play victim. I mean, that's up to you. I asked a question.
That's what she's doing. She's playing the victim when she's not.
I ain't ask about her. I asked, what would you do in a scenario?
What's the scenario again? All I heard was Purdue.
I said, would you choose to get fired today and then if you did a GoFundMe, make $700,000 in less than what was 2 weeks? It was 2 weeks tops when she got that, or start a job in the next 3 days after getting fired at Purdue, because Purdue will hire anybody. Which one you picking?
Well, I'm gonna cry me a river too, then, damn it.
I did. The only thing that sucks is that it's the person that's not really the victim that's getting all this extra funding, while the real victim, the kid, got nowhere near that.
Well, that also just speaks to us as a culture. You know, us real quick, we'll be like, I'm gonna pray for you. And guess what? There was a prayer right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. A lot of people would say, oh yeah, I hate that happened, but nobody's actually putting money to it. So that's the one thing I will say about the other side. They will, okay, you know what can we do? Okay, send them money, they'll gladly send money.
You know something that I saw when I was looking at this whole thing in the comments? It was a white dude that said it, but I thought it was very interesting. He said that the statement was basically like, I'm not trying to sound racist or prejudiced or anything, but I feel like the only reason why the numbers are the way they are as far as the boy and the lady is that majority of the supporters for the boy are obviously black. Majority of the supporters for the lady are more likely white. Now, when we talk about who has the more income in society, the blacks or the whites, the whites, they got more money to just throw out compared to the blacks. Like, yeah, they come here they gonna give some money to support, but at the end of the day, they ain't got so much.
Right.
And I thought about that. I said that kind of makes sense, because if you actually looked up the number of people that actually funded for the young boy and the number of people that actually funded for the lady, the numbers is actually pretty close. The number of people that donated, but yet the number that's in total is drastically different. So I just thought that was very interesting.
What was the initial question?
I was asking what you thought about the video. The question at the bottom is, what does this video say about where we are in society when it comes to race? Based on that video you saw, what does that tell you we are when it comes to race in this society?
I would say for me, when it comes to race, we're still separated for the most part. You know, a lot of the stuff is just covered up nowadays more so, and it's sad that people would even support her in that manner. Like seriously, it just show you how much racial people actually are still out there, or racial behavior. Let's say racial behavior. It's still going, and people supporting it. That's the sad part.
I'm gonna double down on that and make it way more clear. White folks are becoming way more fucking bold with their level of disrespect and disdain to black people, and it's some bullshit.
But you know why?
Get clean version.
It's the man that's sitting up there in the White House. He has pretty much have made it acceptable with the things that he say and do. So they're like, oh, okay, we don't have to hide anymore. We can come out and say what needs to be said. But what they fail to realize, we are not our ancestors. So they can try, but guess what? It's gonna be World War III because nobody's backing down.
Okay, I like that. That's a bar. What do you think? All right, no, let's stay here for a second because I really want to make sure everybody gives their opinion on that. What do y'all think that video speaks to where we are as a society when it comes to race? Let's go Kiki, CJ, because I think me and Giovanna kind of covered it, and then Brittany can finish it up. I know she just spoke right then, but I want to get y'all to answer that question very specifically. What does this video say about where we are when it comes to race today?
CJ, you want to go first? Because I'm still not. I don't know what the question. I mean, I can't really understand the question. Like where we are as a race. Like,
yeah.
are you asking should we be offended?
Yeah, just the whole climate. Based on what you just saw that lady did to that boy, what do you think that says about us in 2025 when it comes to race?
Well, I feel like it shouldn't have been blown up that much, to be honest. I don't know, like, where was the little boy kid? Because if it was my child, I'd be like, girl, fuck you. I mean, it wouldn't too much bother me because I'm not going to let somebody call me nigger and I'm going to just flare up so big that it actually offends me. I feel like if we actually take the offense out of the word nigger from anybody, we'll get a little bit further than the hatred that supposedly comes with it. Because I feel like as long as somebody don't touch me or stop my pay coming in from any direction or what I got going on, You can say whatever you want to say, because I'm gonna say whatever I want to say. You call me a nigga, and I'm gonna call you a racist ass pig waddling bitch.
Okay.
And then for her to do a GoFundMe to relocate or accommodate her funds, I mean, I feel like people are getting away with too much for their ignorance. Like, that's just like you going to work and you doing something you ain't supposed to do, and you get written up and you get fired. You know you ain't supposed to be out here wilding with people always bringing out camera phones and stuff, and then you're going to repeat what you said proudly. Then you need to suffer the consequences that come behind it. You shouldn't have been getting shit. But the people that are funding her GoFundMe, I feel like that's the way they feel, so that's why they supported it. And then the little boy, I mean, he's an autistic little boy. Even if he wasn't autistic, him being called a nigga, he probably wasn't too much offended by it either. So why is there a GoFundMe for him too? Like, what are we fundraising for? I don't know.
Okay. Gotcha. CJ?
One thing that I appreciate, if that's a proper word to use right now. One thing I appreciate about that video is that, you know, in my opinion, white folks is like a bundle of snakes. They all bite. I just can't tell which one will bite me and which one is poison and which one ain't. I appreciate the fact that she was openly willing to display herself on a camera saying nigga after the Somalian dude said, say that shit again. And she was bold about it. At least now you just another person that I acknowledge you own that. That's who you are. You know? So that just, you know, I appreciate you for letting me know which type of snake are you. That's how I view that. Now the boldness, I think it's gonna get worse. I know at one point I thought we was getting a little better at this whole talking like that, but I think at some point it's gonna get worse. But it is what it is, you know, at the end of the day.
Why so serious, guys? I don't know. I'll come back later, bro. I'll come back later.
Nigga, Vito.
You came right at the right time.
Yeah, that video was kind of crazy. We're gonna go to Britt, and I'm gonna reframe it for you, Bino. I got you, Brody. So, Brittany, based on the video we just watched, what does that say about where we are when it comes to racism? And
I mean,
what's your thoughts on what we just watched?
ultimately, again, society has made everything have to go viral. Hold on. Let me pull my phone out and record this. You know what I'm saying? Say it again for the camera so I can air you out. Yeah. First of all, that's already a whole different conversation. Because again, I'm like, Kiki, if my child was out there, I don't even know if that was even his child. So that means you up here was defending somebody's child, which is fine, but find a mom and daddy so they could handle it. But it's almost like he wanted clout too. You know what I'm saying? To get some type of platform. But ultimately, far as racism is being here, it ain't going nowhere until the end of time. So I would have said the same thing like Kiki said. She would comment up like, baby, so is this it, BBB. I would have cussed her ass, slammed the fuck out, because at the end of the day, you are only with somebody what you take ownership of. I ain't no damn nigga. You know what I'm saying? So you can say whatever. Just like I'm gonna just say the word they use a lot is cunt. I didn't even know what the fuck that was. I mean, so they said to me, thought they were offending me. I was like, what is that, baby? I don't know what that means. You know, and so I had to break it down for me because I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So it's just different terminology. It's up to you to accept it. I think we just put too much on the word.
I disagree wholeheartedly. I agree with what y'all saying, because y'all are saying the righteous thing. I think that where we from, being in the South, knowing what that word means or what the intent of the use was, you couple that with my actual child on the playground, I ain't got nothing to say to you. I'm gonna knock your motherfucking head off your shoulders, and whatever come with that gonna have to come with that. And I know, yeah, like I know. But again, that's just one of those principles for me, right? I think that what y'all have said makes sense, right? And I think
maybe for a man, you know,
right.
for men, but me, right. I mean, like I said, why they can call me? I'm like, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out my face, and I mean, I'm gonna cuss her, slam the fuck out, because again, and I might just laugh at her, I might just egg her on, just keep irritating the fuck out of her, because one thing about it, misery loves company. If you don't engage, guess what? They just look stupid talking to themselves.
Yeah, you're right about that. I think that we know how this probably went in reality. The boy maybe took something from her child,
Right.
and she nigger blah 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 blah, and she had to touch her child or snatch it back. Like the interaction, and then you calling my kid a nigga on top of that. We not. I don't know. Like, am I tripping? Like that at that point, gender be damned. I'm gonna knock your head off your shoulders, bro. And I know me well enough to know that that's exactly what I would do. Like this ain't even no. Well, maybe nah. Like what? And again, I don't want to be judgmental because I don't know where the parents were. Right? They could have not seen it. We all got kids. We know, or for the most part, we either got kids, been around kids on the playground. It gets real hectic, so I can understand you not seeing the actual moment. But I think something that scene, the way she was still matter of factly afterwards, wherever the parents were, somebody had to see this at some point.
But
And at
don't
that
you think?
point, it's up, bro.
Right, but don't you think with him trying to record, we missed the whole interaction. It's him chasing behind her. Did you just call him that? Did you it was again him trying to get her to admit her wrong on camera so that way he could be able to post it. Not saying that she didn't do it, not saying what she did was correct. I'm just saying just everything after the fact. They did that trying to make sure it was seen. Now again, I never seen the parent say, where the parent at? Okay, you need to come handle her. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
I just, again, in my mind, I'm thinking I got an autistic black boy and this
And then
white
again,
girl.
where the parent at? Not blaming the parent, but where the parent at? Because I know when I got my kids on the playground, I already know, even though I know it's bad, but when I see little white kids out there playing, I'll follow mine around everywhere. Like they over here, I'm kind of like 5 feet away because I don't know what the hell they might do. They might try to push me down the slide or something while they trying to sit down and get their self position right. They might be like, hold the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But for them to know that child is artistic and then you ain't being mindful what the fuck is going on, that's a problem in itself.
I'm gonna get Bino in, and I'm gonna give a response to Brittany because I like where you going with that, but I don't want to move too far off of it. Bino,
Okay.
so to catch you up real quick, bro. We covered the Carmelo Anthony case. He got his crowd fund done. He raised like $450,000, right, for defense. We're not arguing whether he did it or not. Not the point. Then I just showed the video of Shiloh Hendrix on the playground with her kid. She called the black 5-year-old little boy autistic. She called him a nigga, and was snatching her son away. Somebody recorded her, and she repeated it. Like, yeah, I did it, and it is what it is. So, what's your reaction to that first? Let's start there.
First and foremost, my reaction is don't take what I say as a follow. Take what I say because it's just me. You feel what I'm saying? Don't follow what I do. Bitch, she getting smacked. She getting the shit smacked out of her and some old shit. I'm catching the charge.
Get your GoFundMe. I can put some money on.
No, real shit.
Yeah, look out for me type shit. And that's for any one of y'all kids too. Don't let Uncle Bino have a day out with y'all kids and think somebody gonna sit there and say that shit because you gonna have to bomb me out. And if you don't, when I get out, I'm gonna talk shit about you. Period. Yeah, man. So I'm not gonna say no profound shit or some follow my suit. I'm a live and die about certain shit. Right, wrong, right, or indifferent. If I wanted to say some profound shit, like we about to be in a time where as though a lot of us gonna be called NER. And we got to realize that we can't fight every battle to a person that call us NER. But it's about to happen at an all-time high as far as our generation is concerned, and the generation under us. We're about to hear a lot like it's back in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s again. And I will advise people to take it with a grain of salt because you can't do that time like I can. And you don't got a Bells bondsman, a couple team of Bells bombers like I do. I'm just being dead ass serious. You feel what I'm saying? So don't let me rile you up or Strata rile you up or CJ or Kiki or Brick. Whoever said Javon, whoever said what they said, I don't know what y'all said, but don't let us rile you out. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit about to happen at an all-time high. You gotta take that shit with a grain of salt. And if you are a nigga, The last thing you can do is get mad at a motherfucker for calling you one.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I think, Brittany, to go back to your point, I like your point because I think that in this highly racially charged climate, it's more important for us as Black parents to be more mindful of our kids, right? But I hate the fact and I lament the fact that we live in a time to where I can't let my kid just play on the playground. I'm physically there, but now I gotta watch for shit like this. Like, I hate that it's like that, but you're absolutely right. That's all I wanted to say. Because I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, you know, but I think that that's that awareness part. Like, you gotta know where the hell you at all times. You feel me? Like, that was somewhere
I
in the
would
mid.
who it was a woman, right? It was one of the women. I would smack the fucking my god, bro.
Yeah, bro. It got dark for shorty. And I think that that's the part that, like,
well, y'all would have had her stuff sitting at $1 million. Y'all would have slapped the shit out of her.
Shout out to Yodi. I've been looking at your comments before, and I think that
so y'all talked about that. Y'all talked about the kid for stealing.
So did the child steal something, or they were just playing on the playground?
He didn't steal.
No.
Did y'all talk about that already?
What?
Yeah, that's what we did.
Not yet. Talk about the kid for stealing.
So this is leading up to that. Yeah. This is the whole conversation about that.
So y'all say y'all want. I'm responding to a comment. Move on. Carry on.
So I think the problem is the little boy, again, if he is artistic, he probably doesn't know true boundaries to that degree. So he probably saw whatever it was. It looked like a little juice thing. Squeeze. Like when you get the applesauce or something in there. It's probably something that he has at home and saw it. Again, if he is truly have these mental disabilities, it's probably something that he couldn't discern. Like, that's not mine. He just saw it and probably picked it up. And then the woman went running behind him, like, based off what the man said in the comment, and got it from him. And that's when he said, "You called him the N-word, you chased him or whatnot." So she said, "Yeah, he stole it." But if the child,
so the answer, Yodi Jones' question, I wouldn't smack my child, my autistic 5-year-old child. I'll find a number 4 correction, but I will smack the shit out of the bitch and anybody else that think it was okay. So whoever that is, you get what I'm saying? Whoever that is, comments, whoever.
Yeah.
Right, because if she was used to dealing with anybody else's kids, even with mine on the playground, I'm like, no, that's not yours. You know what I'm saying? And then you would just say, "Can I have it?" or whatever. And then if not, you find a damn parent. You just don't go snatching somebody's kids. If somebody did to my kid, that is going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? When they start to do something else, the words, but actually physically touch them and do anything, that's when we got a problem. But why are you putting your hands on anybody else's child? So I think she should have found the parent or whatever before snatching it or chasing it or whatever else she did.
Yeah, because they actually had a playground. They probably just playing.
Right.
Context matters, man. I think that like I said, that I get it. Kids are kids, things happen. But again, as an adult, you have to be held accountable for being an adult.
Right.
And I think that sometimes that gets missing with us judging reactions versus the trigger. Yodi, what's up, brother?
What's up, boss man? How you feeling, man? I appreciate you giving me the time.
Absolutely.
To express my views, bro.
For sure. Talk to us. What you got?
Yeah, I was just because this news about that lady incident with the lady and the 5-year-old child is blowing up. So I just wanted to add my take on it, you know.
For sure. What you got?
And when y'all saying that, my question, I'm just pose a question. Why do we believe that we have the authority and the power to tell other people what to say or what they can say?
Before you ask the question, I want you to give your take first so we can know your stance, and then we can, kind of chop up the dialogue.
Okay. My stance is basically we have no power, and we should check ourselves before we tell other people what they could say about us. Simply because we don't have no power or rulership in the Senate or the House of this of this country. We don't have no power politically. We don't have no power militarily. We don't have no power to dictate to other people in this country.
He freeze or just
I think he froze.
I think he froze.
I'm gonna see if he can get it back.
Do you agree with what he said so far, though?
No, I want to let him finish the thought. He's coming back. Here we go. We got him.
Yeah, my fault, bro.
Yeah, you good, Brody. You good, bro. Finish your thought.
Yeah, but basically that's why that's my premise.
Is
That's
that
my
we don't
premise.
have the power and the authority?
Yeah, we don't have no political power to tell other races in this country what to say. Or if they can't call it, they could call us the N-word if they want to, bro. That's my stance on that.
So you're saying that the people that are in power gets to dictate the rules?
Yeah, basically, I'm saying that the people, well, the YT people, the Europeans
Yeah.
that in the Senate. Look, there's only 7 black people in the whole Senate. You know that? There's only 7 black people in the whole Senate. There's only 62 people in the whole House of Representatives. There's 400 people in the House of Representatives altogether. We don't have no political power to dictate what other people can say to us. The incident basically is, right, they said the kid stole out that lady's bag, right? Allegedly. Let's say it's allegedly, right? You mean to tell me that if somebody stole something out of your bag, you're not allowed to say whatever you want to say in anger towards that person?
I don't think that's a
Well,
political contest. I think that for clarity, you get the freedom to say what you like, but you then don't get to dictate how I respond, power aside. Would you agree with that premise? Damn, I think we lost him again. He'll probably come back up. There you go. We'll wait for him to come back. I want to finish his thought. Did you hear my response to you, brother?
Nah, I cut out. I'm listening. I'll give you the floor, bro.
For sure. So I think that you have the right, if you feel offended, because that's how freedom of speech works. You can voice your opinion without persecution of the law. But the part that never gets said when we have these freedom of speech conversations is you then don't get to dictate how I respond. That's where it gets a little hairy, because you got people, regardless as to how you feel about it. Let's remove the N-word. Your freedom of speech might get you punched in your face. And you can be righteous and still have to suffer the consequences, because I think that I don't know if my reaction is hinged on how much political power we have as a people. I don't know if that connects for me. But do you think, all right, let me ask you one more follow-up question. I'm gonna let everybody else get in on it. So do you think that if black people had a majority of political seats, that then we would have the authority to dictate the N-word?
Absolutely. And let me say, and let me answer that, and let me explain why. I don't know if you heard of the philosopher.
We lost him again. I'm gonna let him keep popping back up because he'll keep clicking the link. This is interesting. Like I said, it's a different.
Definitely an interesting take.
Yes, interesting take. So I definitely want to hit a brother out, give him a chance to get the full thought out before we allow y'all to ask follow-ups.
So, because we don't have any political power to dictate what somebody say, how they say it, when they say it, do that mean because we don't have no power in Congress and in law that if they say we're gonna bring back slavery tomorrow, we're supposed to just roll with it?
I'm sorry I cut out. I wanted to answer the first question and your question, man.
Mm-hmm.
The first question you offered is when you said that, yes, we do need power. The only way we could dictate anybody to say something to us is we need the power to enforce that. So if we don't have the power to enforce that, how can we even have the audacity to tell anybody what to say or what they can say about us? You know what I'm saying? It just don't make no sense.
I think we do got the power. I feel like when it comes to the N-word, we feel like we need political power, then, and I ain't trying to sound, ignorant, but stop being ignorant about the N-word. Like, take it with a grain of salt. Stop taking it so personal. That's our power. Stop taking a word that just hurts your feelings so personal. Stop putting your feelings out there to be hurt.
That may be true, right? But when people say they will smack the lady, right? They'll smack the lady. And so if a lady said that to me, call me a nigga, and I'll go smack her, right? Then the police is gonna come and lock me up and put me in prison. So who really wins at the end of the day? Her calling me the N-word or me smacking her and going to jail for it?
I do, because you violated the principle and my principle is deeper than the
Can
consequence.
you moderate? You ain't about to do this today.
My bad, bro.
You ain't about to be a panelist today, dog.
Bro.
I'm gonna cut you off right now. You ain't about to be no panelist today. You are moderator, sir. This is your show.
I mean, I feel like if y'all are using words, fight words with words before it gets physical. Because again, like the young man said, you gonna be the one going to jail, and she gonna be playing victim and all of that, and getting over $500,000 because she feel violated because you slapped the shit out of her. So I would prefer my black men to fight words with words. And then if she hit your ass, then you say you were self-defense, you were scared for the life, and knock the fuck out of her on her back. You know what I'm saying? Because she threw the first.
You know what I hear when y'all say this? I hear back in the 50s when they spit in your face to just wipe it off.
No.
No.
It's actual.
No. I'm not talking about the action, but the mindset. If it weren't for certain people back in our times fighting against what they politically or lawfully wasn't allowed to fight for, we'll be still in fucking chains. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's not going to stop the N-word from being said. It's not going to stop it. And for one, Yodi, I get what you're saying. But one thing about it, I don't give a fuck how many black people in seat, that amendment ain't going to change, which is freedom of speech. So you could get all the black
Yeah,
people
but
in the
that's the
world from state,
reason
the
why we don't
local, the
have no power to
fed,
change
the
it. That's what I'm
freedom of
saying.
speech will not change.
Well,
We
it's
ain't
a
got no power
caveat
to
to
change.
freedom of speech, isn't it? At the bottom says as long as it don't incite something about
It
violence.
can't
So
infringe on the rights of others.
Yeah,
right.
like I get it. What y'all saying is politically correct, and I support with y'all statements. But for every politically correct thing that's be said, it got to be the other side. It got to be the other side. And if you stand on, hey, it shouldn't entice you. It shouldn't be more. You're right. Like I said before when I first came up here, we going to say it a lot. So don't follow my beliefs. Follow what you believe. You feel what I'm saying? Because you're gonna hear that N-word a lot, and you ain't gonna be able to fight everybody that say the N-word. You know what I'm saying? So I get what y'all saying. Y'all absolutely right for the future of freedom and being able to go to work tomorrow. But me, I understand what a simple assault is. I understand how much it costs. I understand how much time I might do. And I'm willing to take that. Not because you call me an N-word, because you call my autistic 5-year-old child an N-word. Right? Is no logic that I can control. I'm gonna be emotional over it. I'm telling you, we can say the right thing for the show, but I'm gonna tell you who I am as a person. I cannot be logically sound when it comes to that. You feel me?
Don't you think that's a problem though?
No, I don't think it's a problem.
Not you per se, but just basically.
I'm not going to push my opinion on others, right? I'm going to speak anecdotally today, and I'm gonna project, right? I'm not gonna force my opinion on others whether they think it's a problem or not, Yodi. I'm just not. I'm doing straight projection on this topic. That's just me, brother. And I'm not saying it's right. I said wrong, right, or indifferent. That's going to be me in that situation, sir. You know what I'm saying? But
I
I don't
agree,
want y'all to say
with
women
that.
act off emotions anymore. Okay.
Hey, Brittany, go on.
I ain't care what Brittany just say. Hold on. What'd you just say? What'd she just say?
I just said, do not blame us women acting off emotions. You just said,
Yeah,
Brittany, you're not gonna be able to get that off. We talk
yeah,
about my
Vito.
5-year-old
Yeah, Vito.
autistic son and white people that I barely like. I'm gonna be real.
Oh my God.
He tried to be
But
though. He tried.
Yodi, y'all are saying the correct thing. Y'all are saying the mature thing, and I get it. And I'm a mature person. I try to be best I can. But this one right here, I just can't move myself from.
Yeah. I think all factors included, right, wrong, and different. Like something got to happen to you right then, because I think what happens, and this is why y'all logic works, but there might become a time to where you won't even you'll be right and dead. So that's why when people talk about being righteous, sometimes I always throw that caveat in there because it's important. Think about it. If she's allowed to say the N-word now to a 5-year-old child and get rewarded for it, what's to say the next person that's offended has to Yodi's point earlier, we got the power, we got the numbers. So I can literally call you that, unalive you, and it's all good. And I think that this is what I'm fighting back against, is that if you don't set a boundary, people will start setting it for you. Then you're gonna get real uncomfortable with how they do it. You feel me? And I think that maybe the middle ground to make this fair and level would be take the footage that you got, right? Report her to her job, let her get fired. You know what I'm saying? I understand that's the right thing to do, but I just worry about the constant line moving, even if you think that we are powerless. Because what happens with people that have power and they recognize you won't enforce your boundary, they're gonna start taking more power. And they will keep bumping up against your line until you ain't got one no more. And they'll justify it by saying, well, you let it rock the first time. I think that people treat us how we dictate to them how we would like to be treated. And I think that that's what makes this scenario so dangerous to set a precedent of how we handle it, right? But what are y'all thoughts?
And somebody got to die for the cause, bro. If enough people start slapping motherfuckers for saying that, the next white person will be a little bit more careful about how they do. Somebody got to set the example. Somebody got to take the lashings. Somebody got to take it.
So let me ask you. Let me pose a question. If a race, God forbid, if a race war start today, who you think we're going to win that war between us and the Caucasian white people?
If it happened domestically, if the war is domestic, we are.
If a civil war was to break out, hell, this year, the minority, basically anything that's not a part of the European descendant, would win. Because if a domestic battle was to break out this year, especially with the current president we have, they are all going to fight against the European descendants. They would lose. This is the only country that they're the biggest thing there in population. But if you look at them in other countries, they smaller.
It's the only country they praise that outside of European countries. Nobody else don't fuck with them niggas.
Yeah. Like it's not going to be no blacks versus whites. No, it's going to be whites versus everybody else.
That's a bar. I like it. Anybody else had any thoughts about it?
In regards to what he was saying about because we ain't got nobody in the not enough blacks in the political party to have power, it's the fact that we don't have that many people in there, and yet it's such a big deal if a white person says it that shit can go left. They acknowledge that. So that in and of itself is a form of power in the form of fear. The average white male or female is not going to just casually say the N-word because it's a sense of fear in that. They know that, hey, if they say it, they're going to get looked down upon. They might get scrutinized. They may get hit. That in and of itself is power. If a 5'5" guy is standing in front of a 6'11" guy, him just standing there, that 5'5" guy is not going to think to himself, oh, I'm going to swing on him because I got more power. No, he's not. He automatically just looks at the situation and views it like he's got more power by default. So without us having these groups of guys in this political, these White Houses, like you're saying, we still have a form of power based off of fear. So
let's make. But Yodi, before you respond, brother, let's make your example a little bit more realistic because I like where you're going with this. Y'all know what would actually happen if there was a race war? Two things. First, it'd be very concentrated. Why? Because the military will not pick a side in a race war. Although we like to think that white people are in power, their whole thing is they're going to restore order. So when the militia comes in, they're not coming in saying, hey, black folks, y'all are wrong. We're going to beat on y'all too. No, it's going to be y'all stop fighting, period. So a realistic scenario, if we want to talk race war, would be two cities come to a head at a courthouse over a decision that nobody likes, and then it goes from there. So that would be the proper framing of your question, because that's way more realistic to happen versus us, like all of the black people in the nation fighting all the white people. Like, I don't know if our military will allow us to even get to that level of chaos, right? And even so, they wouldn't have a side. So you would have to remove the military presence because their only job would be to restore order. So we're saying them against us. That's the proper framing for that question.
I ain't gonna lie, Strata. I don't know if you noticed, but during the original Civil War, they started picking sides. That's how it got so bad.
But do you think?
So I think I think today, if a real civil war was to break out in this generation, if it got so bad that the Civil War was solely based, if it was based off of ground and territory, which was more so the bigger issue of the original Civil War, it was ground and territory, then property of humans. If this one was more so a Civil War based off of ethnicity, race, and domestic, I honestly think the military would get broken down. I don't think, because at the end of the day, if it's the European descendants versus everybody else, granted, we are the smallest percentage in the military, but at the end of the day, we there. There's not a branch that don't have. There's not a branch or military base that literally don't have black folks in it. All right, that shit don't happen at all. So at some point, they're probably gonna disregard their fact that they're assigned to the military because it's a civil war. Low key, civil wars, all bets is kind of off at times compared to World War II and One. Like there was more so like we fighting them over there, but a civil war is on ground. So sometimes bets kind of go out the window. So ain't gonna be, but I think when it starts, the military is gonna try it. That's what I think, based off what you're saying. I think when it starts,
right.
But civil wars no war ends that quick. So I think when it starts, it's gonna be that. But the moment the numbers start popping up, people start dropping. Folks is not gonna stop thinking about by doing it based off the military and just trying to protect their side. I think that's what's gonna happen at some point in that civil war, and at that point, that's when a lot of things is gonna go left. And the last man standing is what's gonna be it.
But I think more realistically, though, CJ, if we're being honest, most people only have that emotional burst to be courageous enough to even do this in very small temperament. So the moment people start showing up with bigger guns than you and they tell you to chill the fuck out or get down and lay down, that's why I don't know if it would widespread. I think it'd be a lot of isolated incidents, but I wanted to make his scenario more realistic to what could actually happen versus a hypothetical to where, because think about it, even in the Civil War, the reason why the government was involved was because the government didn't agree on how to move forward. And we were just kind of a byproduct of the government fighting. This is some citizens fighting citizens. So that's why I didn't want to include the government, because the Civil War was more about, we trying to preserve the Union. Y'all don't want to. All right, fuck this. It was kind of Wild Wild West anyway. So I think in 2025, it wouldn't be the government's. I don't think that they would side, because they would lose all control of the country. And I think that they would literally call in more for it. But anyway, don't want to get lost in the hypothetical. But to frame it better, Yodi, I think the better frame would be black people, white people, a city, they going to it. Is that a better framing for your question?
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm gonna respectfully disagree with what the brother was explaining before, when he said that he feels like black people will win that war. Okay. I disagree. I
didn't say black people. I said everybody that ain't European descendant.
Okay. All right, but that
if it was literally black and white, we'll lose included in a way. Right? But if it's lottie everybody against the European descendant, which is what that civil war is going to be, then no, they losing that. Europeans are losing that.
I would like to know the idea behind the question, because when people go into war, they don't go into war with the idea that they're going to win. They go to the war with the idea that they might die.
Yep.
That's a bar.
Yeah.
I need Yoda to get somewhere stationary, because I love his perspective and how he's thinking about it. I love that he's bringing a different element to it. I don't necessarily agree with all of it, but I'm glad he's willing to
got your gears moving.
Yeah, he's taking the conversation in a dope angle. So salute to you, Yodi. Get somewhere more stable, my good brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm bad about that.
But it's all good, bro. So why do you think that we would lose?
Because of resources and power, like I said, and the military would get involved simply because I feel like majority of them are the Caucasian race, so they would have to get involved no matter what, just by default, because they are the overwhelming power structure. You understand? And most likely they're going to allow with the ordinary working class white people that will be siding with in that type of war, hypothetically. You understand? And plus they have resources, and like you said, it's going to be mostly infantry war. But what about air? What about plane? Who got the planes? We ain't got no planes. We ain't got no jet fighters. We ain't got no bombers. They ain't got none of that. They'll blow us out the air, just like they did Tulsa, Oklahoma in the 1920s, right? They'll do it even worse now. So I think we'll definitely lose that war.
But do you realize that the military is only 1%? 1% of the U.S. population. That's it.
Yeah, but who owns all the gun stores? Who owns all the ammunition? Even if we got guns, where we gonna get ammunition from?
So we do have all the different depots and stuff like that. However, you still have your civilian side, the commercial. It's a lot of stuff that goes unnoticed and stuff like that the military is not tracking. And I'm pretty sure probably majority of us that's on this panel is not tracking. It's a lot of illegal stuff that's going on as well. So you can't just say the military has all total, because it's a lot of stuff that goes unnoticed or undocumented.
I mean, I would wish that was true, but I highly doubt that. Compared to the ammunition the military has, it don't matter the regular guns on the street that we will have when compared to their weaponry.
Human be real quick. No, I'm sorry, Peaches, my bad, because I want to make sure I'm understanding them correctly. So if we remove the military altogether, black versus or all ethnicities versus white, you still think they beat us? God, we lost him again. He'll have to come back.
Man, we gotta get that man some Spectrum.
Yeah, I gotta get him some. I'm about to start a GoFundMe for your internet, bro. We about to
GoFundMe for your internet is crazy.
Yeah, you gotta bear with me. Yeah, I'm my fault about that, man.
You good. So again, if we take the military off the table, right?
Yeah.
White versus us, you still think we lose?
Yeah. Based on weaponry, just based on the weaponry, amount of weapons that they have compared to us is immeasurable, and access to it.
I want to introduce another element into your what you're saying. Do you think, although you believe that white people are in power, do you think that they have an inherent fear of black people?
No.
You don't?
I think they literally just being nice with us. I'm gonna be honest with you. They being nice to us, bro. If one snap of the finger, they could blow us out off this map if they choose to. Let's just keep it real.
Bro, his point of view is so interesting.
I mean, have you heard of the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche? Or Friedrich?
Yeah.
Well, his philosophy is based on power. Power is the natural order of the universe. So if you have power, you could make other people submit to your will.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? This is not an egalitarian system. It's a patriarchy. You understand? Mm-hmm. Power makes you submit. I don't care how you feel. I mean, not me personally, but I'm speaking in in the shoes of a person in power or a people that's in power. So the weak person can't tell a strong person he can't say this word. Like I said,
that's true, Yodi.
For a white person.
That's true, but how many dynasties went down in power in history? All of them. All of them.
I mean, that's mainstream history, but real history says that they didn't fully went down. They just changed.
The only empire that never truly went down is the Roman Empire. The only one.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Roman Empire. We still under the Roman Empire. That's the thing that we forgot.
But Bino's statement still stands. Then all the other ones went down because ultimately most power is created through fear. And think about this: when they had Amasa, his wife, maybe 2 kids that are biologically his, and probably got the little light skinned one that he let stay in the house niggas. Then he's got about 40, 50 to 100 slaves. The only reason why those slaves listen to that one man is because of fear. The fear was his power. But in reality, those dudes, those men and women worked so much in those fields, they had the natural muscle capacity to literally overpower that house easily. But fear is the reason why they were able to control them. So if you get these people that at this point are hitting the point where they fed up, they're over it, and now fear is a non-factor. Nah. At a certain point, you're gonna have a lot of people crashing out on a lot of our kind crashing out on their kind. You see what I'm saying? Because the fear is gone. The only thing that's really the power is fear. If there was, if you slap this person, I can go to jail. That's fear. Now imagine if the
I agree.
person no longer fears going to jail. What happens? Not
I
only is that
agree
lady
with
getting slapped, she getting beat the fuck up.
I agree with you. But at the end of the day, yeah, we crash out, but we crash out and end up in prison. So what we gonna do in prison? How we gonna fight from prison? How
Now
can we change from prison?
I
The
think the
prison is
thing
their
is that
dungeon.
you're more concerned about the punishment, while some people eventually say fuck the punishment.
You have to
That
take
that
that
the
into
actions is worth the
you have
punishment.
to take that. You have to take that into consideration, the consequences of your action. You have to.
That's the thing. If a person don't care about the consequences, then it's irrelevant. You
See,
could tell somebody like, oh, if you go out here and do this one act to avenge your family, you gonna get the chair. If they feel like they don't care about the consequences, fuck that
yeah,
chair.
yeah,
As long
that's
as their actions
look.
were
I agree.
successful, yeah.
I agree. But at the end of the day, you retaliate, and then they come for you and lock you up, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
more power, it's more of them you in that situation. So eventually, both parties lose. You get
Sorry.
locked up, and the person you dealt the vengeance to is gone. Both parties lose. Who's winning in that situation?
I assume how you looking
Nobody.
at it, but it got to be casualties of war, right? So a lot
Yeah.
of us in our black community don't care about consequences when we break the law against each other, right? They don't got to change things for that, right? They don't got to change things for us committing crimes against each other. Well, one thing about it, we could go back to Rodney King. We could go further than that. One thing about it is a lot of people that died and went to prison, but some had to change in LA after that shit. Because guess what? Our fear ain't against each other. I mean, we're not against each other. But we get y'all. So now we instilling fear in y'all. See, that's the thing. Now the fear is equal, and when both of us fear, the ones in power negotiate. Yodi, they negotiate. See, I see how you looking at it because it's like, oh, we put, but see, they not fearing. They want exactly what we do to each other. They want that. So it seems like, hey, they ain't gotta move when we do that shit on them. But I promise you, history done showed it, and history repeats itself. Not saying I hope it don't repeat itself here. Don't get me wrong. You feel what I'm saying? I hope it don't repeat itself. But history repeats itself, and it shows that once we instill the fear that y'all instill in us, once we what's the word I'm looking for? Once we revolt back, y'all gonna negotiate.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna negotiate because y'all don't want y'all folk dying. Y'all don't want y'all folk having to goddamn get locked up with us for retaliating against how we do y'all. You feel what I'm saying? Damn, he gone. But y'all see what I'm saying? Like, see, the
No, I get it.
idea, you feel what I'm saying? The idea of fear is because they make it where we do it against each other. And we not even scared of killing each other.
Yeah.
But they don't gotta negotiate when we kill each other. They got to negotiate when we start dropping it. I'm not inciting the riot. YouTube, please don't flag this. I'm not. I'm just talking ideology. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's a bar. That's a bar.
Once, if we was to do that, fear is equal. Now it's time to negotiate because that's what war is about. Making us equally realize we both got something to lose out this bitch. And now it's time to negotiate. That's what war is about.
That's a fact. Leverage and negotiation.
Yeah.
Couldn't say it better, brother. That's a bar.
Is
Like
he
I said,
coming
man,
back?
shout out to, I don't know. I don't see him in the back chat anymore. But shout out to Yodi, man. If you haven't, bro, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button. So does everybody else. That was interesting. Like I love.
Yeah, I did like it. It was totally left field from all of this, but I liked it though.
Yeah, I
It was
liked it.
definitely a different way of talking about that. But
Facts.
dang,
And you know, again,
what he was talking about, boy, that had me up here like the
Yeah,
part
That's
that
how
I ain't gonna lie, the
Yodi.
part
Good,
that got
great
me the most.
perspective. For real.
Yeah, the
Shouts out
part
to you.
that got me the most was definitely him saying that we don't have power under the grounds that there was only like 6, 7 of us in the House of Representatives and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, that can't be necessarily true if they are still in majority of them are still in fear of standing in front of a black person and just downright saying the N-word.
true.
So me being in the lifestyle of the military that I was in, I know for a fact that the best form of power, the biggest form of power, the easiest form of gaining power is through fear. You can have 100 people to my 7, but if one of my 7 blows up a building next to you, you all are afraid of us. Like, I don't care what you're saying. The fear is there, beloved. If I pop one of you in the head, it didn't care that it was 100 of y'all. The other 99 that's still standing is backing down.
That's a fact.
You see what I'm saying? Fear wins over all.
That's a bar. I think that like I said before we go any further, shout out to Yodi, bro. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe to the channel, dog. You're welcome to hit the link anytime, man. I think that this is a perfect time to say it. Like here at the SPS and the Raw Bunch, we're gonna keep it real, and we know we're keeping it real. We're gonna have people that you don't necessarily agree with, but that's how you handle people with different opinions. Because I don't think we disagreed on too much. I just think that his perspective was maybe different than what we were saying, but he actually doubled down on what the women were saying, is that, you know, this is just a word, and in context there are better ways to maybe respond to it. His response was maybe different from what the guys up here what we would do, but again, I really appreciate you, bro. Your opinion's valued. Once you get some better Wi-Fi, you know what I'm saying, keep popping up.
Yeah, get that GoFundMe, put him on some Spectrum or something.
Appreciate you, bro.
Or whatever best Wi-Fi at his location.
Right. But shout out to Yodi, man. That was dope. Just let anybody know in the chat, the stream y'all link is still open. If y'all want to come up here and finish the conversation with us, we would definitely appreciate it. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of the show, man. I want to go straight into the Piers Morgan. So just to catch everybody up, we've already broke down the Carmelo Anthony case, the support he garnered from that, and then we got straight into the Shiloh Hendrix and the support she garnered. And so this is the framing of the debate. They were on a Piers Morgan show. Dr. Lamont Hill, Myron, TikToker, influencer, and someone from, I think, the New York Post. And they were kind of discussing, well, Dr. Lamont Hill was under the impression that the conversation was about, are these two crowdfunding equal? Like, is this one justified? Is that one not? And I think that when he got up there, when Piers started running down these questions, it shifted into something different. So I'm going to give everybody else a real quick synopsis. I'm going to read this real quick, and then we're going to actually get into the debate. Let me share my screen with y'all so y'all can see what I'm seeing, and then we'll get to it. So on the episode of the Piers Morgan Uncensored, featuring Dr. Marc Lamont Hill and Lily Gaddis, where Gaddis was encouraged to use the N-word, was met with significant backlash and controversy. Hill, a prominent activist and author, criticized the show for inviting Gaddis to use the racial slur, which he deemed inappropriate and offensive. Hill's response was to stop the act and frame it as an attack on him, asserting that he would not be subjected to such verbal assault on the program. The incident sparked discussions about the implications of using racial slurs and the importance of respecting others' dignity and self-worth. So that's the framing. Now I want to start. Give me 1 second. I want to start with the opening part of this debate. And real quick, just to let y'all know, we're going to open up with Marc Lamont Hill, like Dr. Marc Lamont Hill. I want to make sure I'm calling him correct. He is a doctor. So we're going to start with his commentary. We'll get y'all feedback. We'll just keep stopping throughout the entirety of the video. So let's play his part, and then we'll get some initial reactions from y'all. Let's see. Bam, bam. Boom. Here we go.
Like the other woman, the argument is we're being misrepresented here. We're being railroaded. This was a self-defense claim. This is not an act of violence. This isn't first-degree murder. I'm saying what they're saying. This isn't my. They're saying this is a first-degree murder claim that is wrong. This is actually self-defense, and we need the money to make sure that we get a fair trial. I think, and so whether you agree with his argument or not, I think raising money for a fair trial is different than raising money for a racist.
I mean, I think the common theme between the two, and this is not to pass any view about it at this stage, although I have strong views about it. I guess the common theme is that both of them say that as a result of all the publicity, they've been doxxed and had all their personal details everywhere on social media, which is, of course, the modern scourge which it's involved. And as a result, they've had death threats and they have security issues and they have to move home and so on. You know, I understand that part of the argument. You know, when you're at the center of a firestorm in America and you're not used to public attention, then the levels of intimidation, threats, and so on that can come your way can be extremely intimidating, if not outright dangerous. So it's different, really, to taking a view about either of the cases, to simply say that the commonality is that they both, I think, have said in defending the amounts that have been raised is, well, we have to defend ourselves. Either.
Right. So let's stop it there real quick. So pretty much what Dr. Hill was stating was that they weren't necessarily equal. And Pierce's retort was that they both had the right to do it because they're defending themselves. What do y'all think? Based on the two crowdfunding for Carmelo Anthony and Shiloh Hendrix, do you all think they have the right to defend their personal addresses when things like this happen?
I think the way how Buddy did it, yeah. I think the way how he initiated it, he had the right to like address the thing. But I think what's his name, the white dude, Piers Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the way how he initiated having her up there, that I feel like that was necessary to kind of address her in his spotlight, because that's a pretty big platform. But I think how he ended it, that's the part where he fucked it up.
We'll get.
He should never went that far.
Yeah,
Right.
we're gonna get there. But let's
the right. Everybody has the right to do that. I mean, ultimately, if we all want to get up there, like you said, we're joking about it now, but if we truly want the right, we can. But ethically, is it right? You know what I'm saying? That man is getting, like you said, for legal fees and trying to get him a fair trial, whereas she is just saying, "Oh, I'm the victim. You know, I need this because of X, Y, Z." Baby, you are truly not the victim here. That child is a victim based off of you using, you know, that obscene word and whatever else she's done while she was out there on the playground.
That's a bar. Either Bino or Giovanna, do y'all think those two campaigns are the same, or should they be treated differently with raising money?
You want to go, Peaches?
You can go ahead.
I feel like, yeah, you can raise money because them motherfuckers been raising money since they've been doing bullshit and illegal shit since the beginning of time. They've been raising money for each other. So goddamn right, we raising money. I don't give a. Let me stop. Go ahead, Peaches.
No, like I said, for the legal part, yeah, you know, because sometimes, you know, they can just get bought out like that, and they don't have the opportunity to have a fair trial. So I get it, but for the other person, no.
So you think they shouldn't be allowed to raise for that?
No, because she was just raising money, what, because of the threats and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, you caused that on yourself. You did it to yourself.
Okay, that's a bar. So if y'all all had the authority, right? Let's say y'all the CEO of the crowdfunding, and I know it's not. Again, the name was on the original slide. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I think it's
Gifts and funds, gifts and go. I think it is.
Gifts and Go. Yeah, right. So if y'all were the CEO of that company, how would you regulate this? Would you give money to Carmelo and don't release Shiloh's funds? Would you let them both get their funds released? How would y'all handle that?
So I think it had to be like some type of setup process, like where, you know, the reason of the funds, and if it violates, if not according to whatever system that we put in place, they won't even have an opportunity to do so. That's how we're set it up.
That's fair. I like that. Anybody else?
I mean, personally, she wouldn't get if I was in charge.
That's real. CJ, what you think, bro? Would you release the
niggas is biased? She wouldn't got a damn thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna support me and mine, even if they ain't mine. How about that? But I ain't gonna lie though, I'm want to hear the whole story. So once I find out what's going on, why you need it, you say you did what?
Y'all talk about Carmelo?
Hold on.
Yeah.
You said that? Oh, beloved, you ain't getting nothing out of here.
Yeah, Bino. So we talking about you the CEO of the place that released the funds, right? So based on Carmelo case, he was raising money for his defense, and Shiloh Hendrix, the girl that called the little boy with nigga, she was raising money because she felt that her life had been doxxed and she needed to relocate. So that's where her money was for, and that's what his money was for. So you the CEO, are you releasing both of their money? Are you releasing one or the other, and why?
CEO or what?
You the CEO of the company that releases the funds. So you like the president of GoFundMe, for the sake of the example.
Oh yeah,
You got both these cases. You releasing it to both?
Yeah, whatever my premise is on my whatever I say on GoFundMe, I gotta stick to that. So yeah, if they raise it, I'm gonna give it, you know. And everybody's innocent to prove guilty, allegedly. So yeah.
So you were releasing both.
Yeah. Everybody innocent to prove guilty. Everybody innocent to prove guilty, allegedly. So who am I to hold the money?
Okay.
You are he's not gonna get a percentage out of it. That's why Bino said release the money.
Oh, GoFundMe do that anyway.
Yeah, they're gonna get their bread. But like you said, also too, like, so when we say not releasing, what normally happens is on all these platforms, if they suspend the campaign, they give refunds to everybody individually that donated. So that's what normally happens, is the people that donated just get their money back.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna suspend it because, like I said, everybody innocent is proven guilty. So I'm not gonna suspend it. Who gets to say if it's suspended or not? The law?
No, the CEO of the company.
Yeah. He with them people. Yeah. He with them people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. He with them people. He with them people because you innocent to proven guilty.
Yeah.
By the court of justice, right? So why the fuck is you withdrawing the bread, CEO of GoFundMe?
Oh, no. So he didn't withdraw the bread. So in this case, what I'm asking you is, you the CEO of GoFundMe, and both of these campaigns are running. So Carmelo is running his for his defense, and Shiloh is running hers because she called that boy nigga, and she said she needed her money to relocate. You get the final decision.
Yeah.
You gonna release both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna release both.
Gotcha.
See, if I was in control of things, bro, I'll play fair, bro. But since I'm not in control of things, I'm not fair.
I respect it, man. I definitely respect it. Yeah, she's not getting no fucking funds from me. Like, no, we're not doing that, because I think it would set a nasty precedent. But I get what you're saying. Like you said, if that's a company you running a business, you know, I know that by me not releasing her funds, I would get a lot of backlash, and I probably wouldn't give a shit. Because like you said, that's just principally me being a black man. Nah, you're not getting no money for you stirring up the shit, and then now you need help because you on bullshit. Like, no, I'm straight with that. But
you mean to tell me she would call that them folk out of name and she ain't had money to dip up out of there?
Right.
See what I'm saying? Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Yeah, exactly why I wouldn't give her no
money.
money.
Don't write no checks. Your mouth can't cash. Ain't that what the old folks say?
All day, bro. Twice on Sunday. Now I want to get into Lily Gaddis, which is the TikToker that kind of had the very inflammatory opinion. So we're going to get her response, and we're going to kind of skip through the interview. I want to play the whole interview, but there were just certain key parts that I wanted to hit. So this next part is a TikToker that gave her opinion on the Shiloh Hendrix case. So let's get into that real quick. Camera screen again. Boom. Pop. There we go.
I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, well, if you use the N-word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendrix is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, but just to be clear, you just said to me you use the N-word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
I'm gonna take it back
at a young child, and then at the person taking the video of her, does it with complete impunity, does it numerous times. We're talking about a bona fide, unquestionable racist. And so I don't understand why what you've just said to me bears any relation to white unity or anything you've just said. She's just a racist, isn't she? You wouldn't dispute that.
It's not about her. It's not about her. It's about
well, it's about her
coming together and supporting another white person, and it doesn't matter.
Why would you want to support a white race?
I'm gonna take it back just so y'all can get her initial response, because it kind of jumped. But I want y'all to see her initial response to the two GoFundMe, so y'all can understand her train of thinking and why this interview turned up a little bit. So let me start it from here.
White hatred that's been systemically,
ingrained in
U.S. society is with white unity. We don't see white unity on.
Hang on. Okay, but hang on. Sorry, just to be clear. This has got nothing to do with anything you just said. This is a disgusting racist woman who repeatedly spews the N-word, first at a young child, and then at the person taking the video of her, does it with complete impunity, does it numerous times. We are talking about a bona fide, unquestionable racist. So I don't understand why what you've just said to me bears any relation to white unity or anything you just said. She's just a racist, isn't she? You wouldn't dispute that.
It's not about her. It's not about her. It's about
Well, it's about her.
coming together and supporting another white person. And it doesn't matter.
Why would you want to support a white racist?
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in the country.
No, that's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. Would you use the N-word out of interest? You would?
I do, quite frequently.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist. Are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, but if you use the N-word repeatedly, you are a racist, are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendrix is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, but just to be clear, you just said to me you use the N-word regularly. In what context? You use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N-word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
You're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
I guess so. I don't really care. Why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendrix? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
Well, shame on white people for allowing themselves to be systematically discriminated against in the United States. This is our country. This is a country that should be.
What do you mean your country?
Because I'm white and my.
Well, there are no black people in American history. Is that what you're saying? That they've all just landed in America, invading your white country? Is that your position?
Mm-hmm. Well, they were brought here technically.
Oh, God, do you understand how dumb you sound?
This is stupid. This is stupid and racist, and at some point we have to ask ourselves.
Boy, that shit. Wow.
Hey, y'all see what I'm saying, bro? See what I said earlier when I first came up here? We about to deal with this shit more than our generation ever witnessed. They're getting bolder and bolder, and this is just a warm up to what we about to endure with these people, right? So your nicest favorite white people about to start switching on y'all. So just be prepared.
Wow.
She said this was our country. They were brought here.
You know how many BBCs she probably took?
A lot.
Bro.
A lot.
It's a BBC.
You can always tell those white girls that fuck with the niggas.
Big black chocolate candy.
Yeah. You can always tell the white girls that fuck with the niggas. She's one of them.
Hey, seriously though, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm about to be quiet, but I just want y'all to remember what I said, bro. I swear to God. Watch. Y'all gonna see I'm a prophet. Shit about to go crazy.
All right, let's go. Javonna, Brittany, and then CJ. Javonna, what were your initial thoughts listening to Lily Gaddis give her opinion on the Shiloh Hendrix case?
Dude, she just, I don't use the N-word. So, and then the fact that she feels so freely, to use it and like publicly say it, it's just, I probably would have been popping off on that show too. So, it just amazes me how ignorant some people are. And especially with that being the meaning of the word. And you actually are acting ignorant. So, just, yeah.
Hey, that's my word, bro. Y'all, the vibe been different like this year. And like, I ain't particularly gonna put it on the president or nothing, but I do think he produces energy that we ain't used to. Yo, I swear, y'all, I pay attention, yo. And this past year, yo, like the vibes I've been getting from them people, it's different than I ever felt in 37 years of my life. That's the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying, y'all. Straight up.
That's a bar.
And it was crazy, like seeing people hurt like that. It's crazy because just for instance, this morning on the way to work, I ran into like so many like Caucasian people that was nice for no reason. You don't have to say good morning. You don't have to hold the door. And it's just like different things, and then you run into people like her.
Yeah, because I think, Peaches, that it is going to be YT people who ain't trying to do that, but they the minority. Well, I ain't gonna say that minority because the young generation really ain't on that. During the BLM movement, when that shit happened to Floyd, I seen them people got them with them signs in Greenville. To be honest, like 80-20.
Oh wow.
So they generation really ain't on that for real. But I think for the people that you talking about that's like holding them doors and being extra friendly out of nowhere, they know exactly what I'm saying. And they trying to be on the outside of it.
Brittany, what are your thoughts?
From the clip, right? That's what we focused on.
Mm-hmm.
I think Piers Morgan was really trying his best to antagonize her. Like, he really wanted her to show her ass up there to me, based on watching it. Because I'm like, damn, why he going so hard? Yes, she's a racist. Like, move on. You know what I'm saying? But he just was going in so much. It's like he wanted her to say something so the black man could be what everyone think he's. Look at him. He up here acting a pretty fool. Granted, he kind of did at the end. We'll get to that. But I was like, yeah, he was doing a little bit too much.
I think I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually liked Annette Freeman. I like the fact that Piers Morgan called it for what it was. I actually respected the fact that he didn't let it rock, and he kind of took off his moderator hat. Like, you realize that what you said makes you a racist, right? And she was like, yeah. He was like, you realize that I have the right to judge you for your free speech. So I ain't gonna lie, I kind of like that part of the interview. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like the fact that you can almost tell that he was beside himself because he didn't. I don't really know if he, like, the way
he had to know what she was because he seen a TikTok.
Man, that motherfuckers start drinking coffee right after the show with extra French vanilla and extra sugar. Fuck Piers Morgan. And you doing that shit for so purpose.
Piers Morgan, bro, but I'm gonna be honest with you. The way Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, when he was talking about it on the Joe Budden podcast, what he said was, based on how Piers Morgan reacted, I don't think that even he was aware of who she was and what really going on. And once you realize what it was, though, to your point, Brittany, that's when he started turning her up at the end of the interview. But I think that what we saw initially, because I didn't play all of her beginning because she talked for a while, and so if in the original clip, he's listening at first, he's letting her talk, and she's like, "Yo, this is our country, white people, blah 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 blah," and he started frowning up a little bit, and she kept talking, and he just stopped. They're like, "Whoa, what the fuck are you talking?" Like, it looks to me as if he was processing in real time. Now, I guess
that man PR good, bro. Like Sneak just said in the comments. That man PR good. Like Sneak just said in the comments. Now Sneak just said in the comments.
In that moment, that's good. Whether you want to call it good journalism, good tact,
he know how to act.
Yeah, I think that was
all the act. He knew exactly what she was and what she was about when he brought her ass up there.
Yeah, he playing Abraham Lincoln role. That's why we all thought that Abraham Lincoln gave a fuck about us. Same shit. I ain't buying it. Like Sneak said. She sat there, baby Sneak, right in the comment. She seen TikTok videos with him cooking, and she seen her casually say the N-word. You think Piers Morgan didn't know she said that shit? Fuck out of here.
And she talking about, only thing I didn't understand, but she said, when is appropriate? Well, bitch, when is it appropriate? That's what I want to know. Like, I wanted her to clarify that part.
Yeah. That's what it is. CJ, what are your thoughts, bro?
Man, just a conversation in and of itself, I kind of agree with everybody. One, he was definitely antagonizing her to get her to say it again. It's his show. Yeah, he already got a pretty big ass platform to begin with. So him doing that was just more clickbait, more views, more likes, all that good stuff. But he should never done that. He should have just stuck with the main topic. He kind of flipped it to try to look like he was being supportive of the black community by putting a hey guys, here's another one when we already knew who the fuck she was, bro. Let's just stay on topic.
That Trojan horse tactic is fire. It shit still work. That Trojan horse tactic, that invite me to the cookout tactic, it still work. I'm gonna infiltrate. Yeah. We gotta keep them in a state of confusion and think that some of us give a fuck. Come on, bro. We ain't buying it no more, CJ.
That's a bar. I like that. Okay. That's different. I like that. Now I want to get to I want to actually skip to the part where Myron Gaines. Again, this is one of the co-hosts of Fresh and Fit. I think he's Sudanese, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, he champions Black empowerment, you know, self-improvement. He had an interesting take, but I want to get y'all thoughts on exchange he had back and forth with Dr. Lamont Hill before we skip to the end. Give me 1 second. Let me find it. So, yeah, we'll probably start it here. Perfect. We'll get y'all reaction to this. Here we go.
In America, for a very long time, they're able to be racist with impunity. They're able to call white people crackers without being challenged back. And not getting accountability for their actions.
Anybody. I don't need to, Mark, with respect, Mark, I don't need to wag a finger when somebody says, yeah, I'm racist. I use the N-word against black people. I don't care. That's a racist. I'm not wagging any finger. I'm not accusing anybody. She is admitting it proudly. Even you can't defend that, surely.
Everybody is racist to some degree. The reality is it depends on, a lot of people want to be politically correct. A lot of people want to sit there and say, I'm not racist at all. We all have biases. We all have stereotypes. We all make jokes. We all are racist to some degree. Now, how racist you are is a whole other situation, but everyone is racist. That's number one. Next thing I want to say. See, I think the Shiloh Hendrix and Metcalf situation is a microcosm of a much bigger problem. And that bigger problem is what I call systemic organizing. But what I mean by this is for decades, we've had black people literally running around with black supremacy, committing crimes, not getting accountability for their actions, and then they blame the system for it. For example, George Floyd, criminal. Ferguson, criminals. Freddie Gray, criminal. A lot of these people are criminals, and what ends up happening is they challenge the police officer, they get into a physical altercation, things go left, they die, something happens, use of force is utilized, and then they want to cry about the result. When in reality, it's not the police killing black people, it's black people killing black people. And if you want to talk about black on white violence, black people kill white people 2 times as much. And on top of that, most of the shootings in America, a lot of the time, are white people killing, white cops killing other unarmed white men. So this whole systemic racism or police brutality, or, oh, it's also messed up. The reality is this. Black people have been able to get away with a ridiculous amount of privilege in America for a very long time. They're able to be racist with impunity. They're able to call white people crackers without being challenged back. And quite frankly, white America's had enough of it, and the chickens have come to roost. Now, look, am I saying that's awesome? Am I saying that's great? No, but for literally the better part of almost 2 decades since the Obama era, we've had to have BLM and liberalism shoved down our throats, and quite frankly, we're all tired of it.
Right, but just to be clear, you would have no problem with one member of this panel openly saying she uses the N-word at black people with impunity and is proud of being a racist. You have no problem with that?
My worldview on the protection of the First Amendment and freedom of speech overrides my personal feelings. She has the right to say
That's fine. You can support the First Amendment, but you can also have a personal view about what she said.
My feelings are irrelevant. The Constitution is the Constitution. That's what matters.
Oh, that's fascinating. Hold on. So when it comes to chastising black Americans about their behavior, about calling white people crackers, as you say, about their moral claims, about the racism, you can levy a judgment against black Americans for all the things they do. When it comes to this woman saying the N-word, and this other woman endorsing it and saying that she herself uses the N-word, now all of a sudden we can only talk about the Constitution and the legal right. We can't offer any moral judgment against it. That's disingenuous. And it's, as the only black American up here, that's quite frustrating to hear.
If you want to be soft and get offended by that, that's your fucking problem, not mine.
Let me ask Ricky. Let me ask Ricky.
This isn't about being soft any more than when you were desperately saving these white people.
Hold on. The sensitive nature that you have is precisely why we have this problem.
It's not about being sensitive. It's about I didn't articulate. Hold on. Myron, let me speak and then I'll let you respond. Myron, I didn't articulate any sensitivity here. What I said, in the same way that you levied a judgment against black people, I'm levying one against the claims you're making. I'm no more sensitive than you were when you made your claim. I'm simply saying I disagree with you. And to immediately jump to you're being sensitive is just a distraction. I'm making an argument. Just respond to my argument.
My argument to respond to that is this. Political correctness, liberalism, and making sure that we are politically correct and don't use certain words to offend people is precisely why we're in the situation that we're in. For decades, we've had to literally tiptoe around saying certain things around certain people, while the other group of people has been able to have impunity and be able to be as racist as they want to be, as violent as they want to be, without any type of consequence. And if you call it out, you're labeled a racist. The reality is this. Black people don't want to live around black people. I don't want to live around a bunch of black people. I move to neighborhoods where it's majority white because I know I'm safe. Now, this is uncomfortable reality that no one wants to say, so I'll say it for them. Black people commit a lot of crimes. A majority of the violent crime committed in the United States is committed by a small percentage of people, and they tend to be black men. Look, the reality is the reality. People don't want to say it, but the political correctness and being nice and not wanting to tell the truth is precisely this problem. And the reason why you're seeing all the support for Metcalf and Shiloh, etc., is because white people have not been able to step up and say what they want to say for a very long time because of what I said before, systemic, organized, where they don't take accountability for their
let me bring in Ricky to respond. Ricky.
Yeah, I mean.
All right. What are your thoughts?
I miss the good old days when Myron wasn't this stupid.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
That nigga said so many motherfucking lies that could have been easily debunked. Like, that's ridiculous. Saying that black people kill white people twice as much as black folks is crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy. If
was
it was really like that, boy, we'd be having way more of these riots and cops beating, banging down doors and white folks coming out our necks if it was like that. Stop. That man, no.
yeah.
Saying and then gonna say majority of the crime is committed by black folks. You can literally debunk that. You can still look at the population of white folks in the penitentiary in actual prisons. From the East Coast, it's more black, but as you go into the Midwest, mountains, and West Coast, it's more white. Like it just the number just gradually increased. At the end of the day, their population is way higher than ours overall. They cause more crimes overall. It's just what gets put on the news more is black people, and the news and the media makes it even bigger if it's black on white in any type of aspect.
Control
So
the narrative. Yeah.
yeah, everything that man was saying could be debunked off a simple Google search or a deep dive if you want to go that detailed down to the point 10 whatever on something. That was crazy. But it's Myron.
I just thought it's funny. He's like, I don't want to live around black folks. I go move white. And I'm thinking to myself, them white people that he moving around probably call him niggas. What that nigga doing moving in our neighborhood? Or they might be like scared of him and don't want him there. So it's crazy that he's thinking he's gonna go there to be safe. Well, they probably don't even want you there either.
Yeah, he's a llama that wants to be a white sheep.
Is he Indian? He look Indian.
Yeah, he's Middle Eastern. What do you call it? Sudan or something like that. He's Middle Eastern. No,
yeah,
Liberian. Well, it's one of them things.
Yeah,
but he's not black. He's like one of the
Sudan. And I think
Sudan. He's one of them. He ain't black at all.
Regardless, as dark as he is, they gonna think he a nigga.
It's crazy because I was living in Michigan. It was a lot of them in my neighborhood, and I was like, y'all do too much stuff at nighttime for me. Why y'all turning up at night? Like what is going on? Is kids literally out? It's like a party. And I'm just like, well, did I get into the wrong neighborhood? And then I had I had like an older Caucasian young lady across the street, and then on the back side it was mixed up a little bit. But for at least it was like 3 or 4 houses there, and I'm like, is this safe? So you but at the same time, you kind of not like trying to judge people off color, and things of that nature. So I had to wait to see their behavior. But as far as the crimes and stuff, that's crazy. I wish that it wasn't so much African American on African American crime for sure. However, as far as the crime, like CJ said, like you look at the statistics as far as actually Caucasian people and the crimes and stuff that they actually do. I think we be a little bit below that.
Yeah, him trying to fight for white people and trying to make him. And the little words he was saying, he was like, and they kill white people twice as much as they do black people, and we're tired of it. Boy, ain't a white bone in your body.
Yeah, he did it a lot. I'm like, oh wait a minute, what's that?
Fun fact: recently, he was on a Discord live that got recorded, where they was basically talking about that white people need to take back the power or something like that in society, and it was based off the conversation of the dude running over the cop with the car, and Myron was in this conversation, right? Majority, it's like 6 other dudes talking, and in that conversation, they say, well, just this is a white dude telling Myron this. He said, well, Myron, if we take back our power indefinitely, we're going to kick all the black people out. And Myron's like, as you should get rid of them. Like, you should get rid of them and take back the power in your country. And he's like, yeah, but if we do that, you got to go too. That was crazy. And then he argues in that thing. He was like, well, that's unnecessary because my people haven't done nothing. Beloved, they don't care. You're not white.
My thing is, why they keep talking about take back our country? It is not y'all's. Like that.
Boy.
She talking about our country. I'm like,
Yeah,
it
when
was the Indians. Y'all came over here and took it from them. It wasn't yours.
Yeah, man, that's the thing that pisses me off because you're right, Brittany. But technically, it's they shit. Like it's like if I come take some shit from yours, it's mine now.
Because you didn't take it back.
because you ain't take it back.
That's what my dad used to say. My dad used to say, yeah, you can say, oh, this belongs to us. How? If I steal your Jordans and then you don't never take them back from me, who Jordans are they? They mine until you take them back. That same rules applied for America, which wasn't called America before. They call Indians Indians, but they only call them Indians because of what Christopher Columbus thought they were when he came here. That's not what they was called themselves. They wouldn't even call themselves Native Americans back then. That wasn't a term.
We know what they called themselves. They were tribal, just like we were.
Exactly.
Just like
they were tribes.
Africans
So based
were.
off the tribe they was in, determine what they was called. So, but we got to refer to them as Native Americans or Indians.
But how can a dude even say that, like, as far as like the crime and stuff like that? Like, look at the school shooting. Majority of that are Caucasian people, and then they had the audacity to put a vest on the people, so make sure nothing happened. Or the church shootings.
That boy that shot up that church, and they took his ass to Burger King or McDonald's.
Right, exactly, Burger King, yeah.
You know, that's why as they country, we don't have a black media outside of entertainment. You know, and it's like I know personally people that try, but they be so local with it. You know, like since social media, you got people who trying to be their own black media, but it don't go no far because the black media actually follows the same thing they do, which is propaganda. You know, and I think that the black media people who are entrepreneurs, I think they don't realize that if they chase down the positive light of this, they'll blow faster than they do chasing what's that boy name? Yeah, that boy that we just watched. Do this, you know what I'm saying? Him and his network still do. You feel what I'm saying? They already do that. Like we like in so many ways we follow suit of what they told us to be. We don't even realize it.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, you know, entertainment sells. So y'all know for a fact
Who buys it though?
I get it, but think about it. You can post saying, "Hey, I got a promotion at my job." You might have 5 people to like it, but you post that you beat somebody's ass. Everybody, mama coming to come like that post or come look at it. So I get what you're saying about that.
That's a very local post letter. I'm talking about literally people who go into media, who go out there, who chase, and I get you're right to a sense, but you only right because of that's what people do. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm not even talking about on a local. I'm not even talking about on a local post or a local. Hey, I just gave 10 turkeys out. Cool. I'm talking about real media or what we really doing. Because when them motherfucking all them black boys graduated for doctors, it went viral. It was big news. When all these different shit that I see that y'all see, because I know for a fact y'all part of them 500,000 views and them fucking 50,000 shares. That's real media. So it don't go unnoticed. It ain't enough of us doing it because subconsciously we follow their culture, what they made for us, and that's me included. I'm not outside of that, Britt. I'm talking about me too. Subconsciously, we do it. We don't even know it.
That's a bar. So we kind of been actually answering the questions through our dialogue, and I appreciate y'all. But I want to ask a very direct question because Myron Gaines is actually a co-host of the Fresh and Fit show. They're a part of the manosphere. They're not really black manosphere per se. They're just manosphere. And so they do, and at a time, a lot of our black men, they use it for self-improvement and empowerment. Based on his current rhetoric, do y'all think that he can still empower black people with self-improvement in the manosphere based on his opinion?
No,
can he
that
do
man's
both?
anti-black. No.
No, he crashed and burned that. This year he crashed and burned that.
Oh.
That's why we ain't been seeing him as much with Fresh. But then day Fresh is a Caribbean nigga. All right. So Myron is not black at all. So he kind of crashed and burned that this year. That's why he's been having random pop-ups on other people's stuff. That's why if you watch some of his most recent stuff, it's actually him at home doing lives, damn near looking like this on his own thing. Or he's doing Rumble. Yeah, he kind of crashed and burned shit this year. popping up on Aiden Ross's shit with a goddamn sheet over his head with the eyes cut out, looking like some KKK shit.
Oh wow.
Talking about I was just imitating
Right.
Kanye West. No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. You low key racist as fuck to begin with, my guy. And if you watch that interview that we got right there, you're gonna see the part where he has a play gun that has the bang, and when the black dude like is speaking on old girl, telling him like, "Hey, don't have her call me a nigga," he puts the gun up to the side of the screen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Come
and I
on
was
now.
wondering what that was. I tried to research and find it because they blurred it out. So that's what that was.
Yeah, it was a like a little revolver toy gun that if you had shot it, the little flap thing would come out saying bang.
Okay.
I like how people talk more about the black man's response to, "Hey, don't call her nigga," but ain't nobody saying shit about Myron putting a gun up to this man's screen like that. Come on
Well, I
now.
guess because it's blurred out. I was trying my best to find it to see what it was. So maybe because it's so censored, maybe it's not out there
No,
like that.
when I first saw the video, it wasn't censored. So I guess maybe other ones got censored.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Got it. Anybody else want to add to that before we get to the end of the debate?
I ain't too much familiar with the guy particularly, but I seen him a lot. I ain't know he was like the fresh and fit nigga and shit.
Yep.
But
About Myron?
yeah, I seen him a lot on like mainstream media and his tapes, but I ain't know like I'm just recently learning how where he came. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how I'm recently just learning
Yeah.
about the first. So I ain't know that he was. I connected the dots right then, and so with me not knowing, me speaking out of ignorance, I would say like he probably went through based on what and it's not too much ignorance. It's based off what I don't know, but what I gathered from everybody else, from where he started from. He probably started from a situation where where he felt like he was the great black hope, right? He like I'm in a certain position, I can get black people to come too. You know what I'm saying? And he realized how often your own people will let you down in all different ways, form, shapes, and fashion. So as he continued to progress and he continued to link with them people, because them people in a position of power and they in a position of wealth, and they the ones that really give it to us in all ways, shape, forms, and fashions, he probably would start leaning towards more so, man, them niggas just don't get it and I'm different. So he end up his mind end up more focusing on the bad of us instead of the good of us, and or focus on the ones who don't give a fuck for the ones you really can't help, right? Because like what we do as black people, we randomly like try to help random black people, and at the end of the day, our own people are going to be the people, you know what I'm saying, that take us down. You got to help the ones that want to be helped. So when you let money be the influence of why you're trying to help, like you let that be your driving force, it's gonna get cloudy every time because that's that devil's dollar. You feel what I'm saying? Because everything he talked about right there, when he said what he said, bro, it's a young nigga with a gun. It's a young nigga in the hood right now that will listen to everything that man say if he came and walked up to him.
I think that's probably what makes his shift so impactful is that a lot of men, like if we want to talk, we keep it on black men because there are black people here. A lot of black men, I think, found value in what they started doing. And I think that that's the part that's disheartening is that now he shifted to what we know to just be conservative rhetoric. That's all this
Can I
is.
interject? But a lot of us don't see value in what we start doing. We have purpose in what we're doing. When our purpose don't equate to our value, we always go towards the value strata.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though, and I think that this is the part that is disheartening about what he's currently doing. I agree with you, but I think that for people that could maybe consume it, find value in it, I think they're gonna be hard pressed to now turn against something that worked for them so well. So for all the black men that followed him when he was on Fresh and Fit, they don't just disappear because he's changed what he's saying. No, they start leaning a little bit more towards his new ideals because he hadn't failed them so far. And I think that that's what disheartens me is that something that started so good, you know what I'm saying? And I think that that's the part that, the manosphere, like when we're talking about just the manosphere and men improving, that's a good thing, right? And I think that black men should focus on self a lot more than the things that throw us off. It's just fucking disheartening when somebody can shift that much. Like I lose respect for the messenger. The information is the information, but that's it just, I don't know. He's a piece of shit. I don't know how else to put it. Like, bro's a piece of shit, bro. And I think that, you know, anybody listening to the sound of my voice, you know, be thankful that, you know, we got seasons and times. And I know that a lot of people that got better. I'm talking about men because, again, he was a huge part of the manosphere. I know a lot of men probably got some real good information from bro, but you got to also know when to get away from the table. You feel me?
Yeah, that shit come with discernment and shit. Like take with the part in that you could take from, like use him. It's like he using people now. Use him, you know what I'm saying? Because he obviously is a smart man. He made it to where he got to, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta get to a point where you don't follow the person, but you follow
the message.
The message, yeah. And I think a lot of people we idolize people. You know what I'm saying? And that's our problem. We idolize people. We don't idolize the messages that could benefit us, and benefit other people. You know. And I'm just glad I was always taught not to idolize a person.
That's a fact. Because you're just idolize them long enough for them to let you down. And that ain't even human nature. That's just the fact that idolatry puts someone above being human. That's what makes idolatry so dangerous, although it's sacrilegious. But just on a psychological side of it, you know, making something or anything your idol, that's the danger in it, is that you remove the element to have a flaw. So, you know, I'm glad that at least he's showing where his new path of trajectory is. So now we can identify, you know, how to slot bro appropriately. But I wouldn't encourage any black man to follow his current path. I really wouldn't even say per se go back to what he said before, but I think that'd be me being disingenuous and just hating what he's becoming. So, you know, any black dude that is searching for information, there are still inspirational people in the manosphere that can add true value to you. You know what I'm saying? Be more discerning in doing it, but don't stop growing because the people that introduce you to it turn coat. Because it's self-improvement, going within will always be the message. And don't allow people like him to now make you think all you did was for nothing. No. You learn, you retool, you regroup, right? But this is why, you know, this on top of what they were talking about, this is another reason why this particular debate I wanted to bring up, because again, he talks to he a lot of his following was black men, right? So he was in our community, and it's important to highlight this current shift based on how he view us. Now we can argue about when it started. I don't care about the inception of it. We have to deal with what the fuck he gave us, and you know that's why I think this is such a powerful clip. Y'all good?
Hell yeah. That man disappoints the fuck out of me, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It is what it is. Motherfuckers change.
Okay. What was so disappointing, bro?
I think the biggest disappointment was just he made his own poor decisions. He thought that, you know, he could just keep speaking the way how he was speaking and that everybody was going to be accepted to it or eventually be accepted to it. And it's just like, nah, brother, you got an audience of people that are going to have your back, but don't go overboard, because at the end of the day, you go overboard, you're going to say shit that literally no side's going to have your back. And he hit that point last year. Like, and then last year's when the first sign of, all right, man, you're doing too much. Then by the end of the year and going into 2025, bro, you crashed. You got demonetized. Like and then you made it worse after getting demonetized. Like,
yeah. And
then you got to take into account that, bro, y'all platform been around since before COVID, before 2017, and your platform was literally funded by Fresh because he's from a family of rich people, a family that had their own contracting businesses with Porsche and BMW. Those are big boy dealerships. So he was born from money. And so, you know, at the end of the day, ultimately, whether the platform was being funded by YouTube, by OnlyFans, by the educational services and whatnot, a lot of that money still had a big role from Fresh. So you crashing and burning, it's like you don't appreciate shit, bro, or you lost appreciation, I should say, because you fucked up the brand, and now you here just, all right, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna say whatever comes to mind, and now look at you, now you look like a Middle Eastern racist. Now your old lady done left you, like you crashing and burning, brother.
Oh wow.
Every other week, I'm seeing something else with your ass, because that shit, that interview, that debate we saw, that ain't that old.
Right.
So it's like he crashing and burning everywhere.
Yeah.
But I said, man, so I said, I missed the days when niggas when he won't doing that. Back when he had the bald spot on his head, before he got the damn hair and plucked. Goddamn, like, bring that Myron
Hold on,
back.
he got what happened to his hair? What you
do?
He got his hair plucked.
Yeah, he got hair plugs. Like, he was going bald in the back. You know how the Middle Eastern folks be getting bald at the top for whatever reason? Yeah, he had that. At one point, he started wearing like a beanie all the time on the show, or wearing a hat all the time. Then he got the hair plugs.
Yeah, that is disheartening, bro. I'm gonna leave it there, because like you said, I'm not gonna yeah, I think that you summed it up.
Yeah, now he a goofy. He dumb. He crashed and burned. He's stupid as fuck now. You fucked up the brand. You fucked up the money. Now you got niggas like OGs like me that used to like pay attention to a lot of that shit. A lot of us is already like, all right, we're just gonna watch this section of your YouTube channel. We ain't even gonna watch all the other shit, because all the other shit is just bullshit. That's for the younger niggas, I guess, that want to be into that. But now you skipping episodes. We weren't even doing the shit that we was watching, and then everything else just fell apart. Unsubscribe, debunk this nigga, let him crash and burn.
That's real. That's real. That's real. Let's get to the end of the actual interview and see how they close this out. And then
Brittany got to watch this part.
Yeah, this part was crazy. This was pretty insane. Let me know if y'all want me to skip back a little bit, but I'm trying to get the part to where we start with Dr. Marc Lamont Hill's initial closing and then get through it. But I'm trying to capture the moment that you're talking about, CJ, that you and Brittany was talking about earlier. Let me see if I can scrub it and make sure that at least that's included. I think it is, but we'll see.
This repeated use of the word, I think, first of all, I want to just register that as offensive, particularly someone who doesn't identify as a member of that community and who is not, right? I think that's incredibly...
I'm the definition of African American. I'm the definition of African American.
And troublesome, and to as a Sudanese American or an outsider who's using African American in a very technical term, the same way that Elon Musk is an African American, I think it is a bit disingenuous. But the bigger issue here, I think, is that, you know, this idea of equating of one side to the other side often loses track of this issue of power. To use as example, when Black people stand up and say, "Hey, let's build our own stuff. Hey, let's have a Black power movement," that is not the same as a white power. I'll let you speak. I interrupted. Let me finish, please. My Sudanese brother. So when a Black person says, "Hey, let's preserve our culture," I have no problem with Italians or Irish people or anyone else. Let's preserve our culture. But when we don't talk about ethnicity, but actual race, when white people say, "Let's preserve whiteness," it's an exclusionary practice. It's about preserving laws and practices and tactics that do harm to other people. A Black power movement was about opening stores and building businesses. A white power movement was a white. A white power movement was about something very, 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 very different. A white power movement who included lynchings and included Ku Klux Klan, etc. So let's not pretend that these are opposite sides of the same coin. When white people say, "Let's save our country," even using language like "our country," when Black people built this thing, when you say that, you're talking about forcing people out of the country. You're talking about laws that discriminate. You're talking about doing harm to people. Let's not pretend these are the same thing. Just like these GoFundMe campaigns are not the same thing. I'm okay if everybody gets out of the GoFundMe industrial complex. I'd love that. But let's not pretend that supporting someone for a fair trial is the same thing as supporting a grown white woman berating and calling the N-word to a 5-year-old autistic Black child. And the fact that everyone in here can't be unanimous in condemning that says exactly how they're not the same.
I totally agree. I'm going to go to Lily Gaddis and just ask you one more time. I mean, you've been so unashamedly proud of being a racist today, proud of using the N-word whenever you feel like it. You've had a bit of time to think about this. Is that how you want people to leave this panel debate? We're thinking of you as a disgusting racist?
I don't really care what people think about me. As long as you care about what people think about you, you have no power and you lose your country. What I care about is freedom of speech. And if you're not allowed to say the most offensive things in this country, you do not have freedom of speech. I don't care what anybody says. So that's the main crux of this situation. That's what I care about with this situation. It is, we have lived for far too long in a country where you can have your life destroyed. And people say, oh, she doesn't need this money. Her life's destroyed, by the way. She'll never be able to get another job. She's got children to have to support. And I don't want to live in a country where you can say an inappropriate, rude thing, which, by the way, Black people can say things to white people all the time and they never get canceled. There's no backlashing about this. I want to live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly. And you will
go on,
not
then,
have
say it. Say
you
the
will
M-
not have
Go on,
free
go
speech.
on. Say the M word. Go on.
No,
I'm not saying-
don't invite. No. I don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term in front of me because I'm the only on here. So if she says it, I'm the victim of it. So please don't invite her for ratings to call me the N-word. That's basically what it's going to be. There's a bunch of white people up here, and one Uncle Tom on the left here, and asking her to say the N-word while I'm here is ridiculous. You would not sit here with a Jewish person and say, please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jew. It's ridiculous. I understand you don't have any bad intent, Piers. I understand what you're trying to do, but we already know she's racist, and I don't want to invite a racial harm to me.
I hear you, and I accept that, and we'll leave it there. Thank you all very much.
Brittany, you saw that shit? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yes, I mean, I saw it. I saw that early, and I was just like, "Yo, like, completely." I was taken back.
That shit,
Like-
wow. That nigga put that gun up and was just like, bang on bruh. That's wild. Ain't nobody even talk out of them. Watch so many clips where they talk about this. I ain't seen not one person speak on that part. Everybody just talking about Piers Morgan trying to nag her to say the N-word, or the fact that she's so casually saying the N-word. I ain't seen nobody, or they talking about like, why is Buddy spazzing out that? It ain't that serious. You don't need to be spazzing on somebody else's platform like that. I don't see nobody speaking on this nigga Myron putting that damn little toy gun up, bang on the fucking dude. Like, that's crazy work.
Yo, that was a good ass fucking debate clip, bro. Them niggas went hard. Boy, they spent me.
That was heated.
I'm
Look, I
glad
ain't
she
gonna hold you.
some self-control because I mean he really was trying to bait her. I'm like, thank God she didn't click the bait. I mean, she didn't take it.
Look, I ain't gonna hold you. Like I said, I don't use the N-word, but the way you do handle the thing with the little pistol, I had to go see him.
Yeah.
Because
Okay, Brittany.
and I try to be mindful, of what I say and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be. But that was real disrespectful.
That's
Cause she had a point though.
Huh?
Cause she had a point.
You said did she have a point?
What do you mean?
The white girl had a point.
What was
I'm
her
talking
point?
about dude. I'm talking about the Myron
No.
dude.
I ain't rebelling what you say. I'm just saying that white girl had a point.
What's her point?
She said, I don't want to live in a country where I can't say the most rude and egregious things and goddamn, you know what I'm saying? That's part of the shit, freedom of speech. And black people say it too. So like when I was just saying all that what I was saying, I was like, damn, like even though history is history, like that's kind of right though. You know what I'm saying?
I don't ever see too many like African American people call white Caucasian people out of their race or whatever. Like not that much knowledge as you see it with them using the N-word.
Yeah, I'm not really necessarily focused on black people do it too, but I'm just saying like that's technically that's the con of freedom of speech. That's the con of it. Just like it's a lot of pros and cons to a lot of laws we live by here in the capitalist country that we live in, that's so-called a free country. Like, but that's the con of it. Like that's why I said that shit spent me because that shit made me think.
I think that like you said, I hate, and like you said, this is the unintended consequences of laws written hundreds of years ago, is that the intention isn't how things are being carried out. So the First Amendment, the right of freedom of speech, was only granted so that those that were speaking out against the government, the U.S. government, would be free of persecution. That's the context behind the First Amendment, right? It wasn't for you to say, fuck you, go to hell to another citizen. It was, you can say, I don't agree with what my president is doing.
Yeah.
He's on bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Like you said, Bino, that is the unintended consequence.
I understand that. It's unintended because we always know it. That's what we do as a country. It's really dumb. They really said it for us. We always find ways, like the law, find ways into shit like that. Like when you get a lawyer and you do something, he find the nicks and the cracks in that shit for him. So I mean, that's the pro and the con of a law.
That's real shit, bro. And I think that, like you said, as long as, and this is to all the concerned white people that are watching us black folks on this good old Beyonce internet, world to wise, you have the freedom of speech. You got that First Amendment, and hold it close to your soul. But when that bullshit come out your tongue, I need for you to duck or maybe be vested up, because every black person don't honor it the way they should. They all not gonna respond. We will not respond the same, and it's too much of a gamble for you to be right and using your freedom of speech and be dead. I'm sorry, delete it. So unless you want to go, chop it up with your maker, use discretion with that, freedom of speech. And I would say that to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to bro. Yeah, when you say it, duck, because everybody, we don't play the same game, and you got the First Amendment speech. You got every right to do it. Make sure that you know what the hell comes afterwards, and it ain't sweet all the time. I'm gonna let y'all do the solutions, man.
Real quick though, you might not got time. If you don't got time, that's fine.
No, you good. You good. We good on time, actually.
Did y'all see the video with the 2 KKK members went to the Atlanta park and got deleted?
No.
You got time to see if you can get that real quick?
Yeah.
What? Wait a minute.
So when you looking at that real quick, so just because like you always we was talking about freedom of speech, but I can't say we're free. For the most part, you're free. However, and you're free to do whatever you want to do. Just because you're free to do whatever you want to do, but you had, of course, to deal with consequences afterwards. So that means that you actually gonna do whatever it is that you really want to do, if it makes sense. Like just because right now, say if I want to go and shoot up something or whatever case may be, I'm free to go and do that. However, I had to deal with the consequences, and therefore, because you have the freedom of speech, some of that stuff you may have to face some consequences from it, and some you may not. But just because you have that option, that don't mean you actually have to take it.
That's for sure.
See, that's why I made the statement earlier that that our power is technically fear, because there's a lot of people. Their population of theirs is way higher than ours, but yet they still got a fear of standing in front of a black person and just downright saying nigga.
Right.
Or if a black person say it, just say it. They be like, yeah, I'm not gonna say it. I'm like, why not? Because they know if they just downright say, even if I gave you the invitation, boy, I'm hitting you 3, 4, 5 times a Sunday. It's a sense of fear. That fear still exists. Now with old girl, she's obviously stayed in environments where she ain't got to worry about that. Cause I think it was Sneak that said something about she got a TikTok page where she be just saying it casually while cooking or something like that. So it's just like, if she doing that casually on a platform like TikTok, she's also stayed in an environment where she knows she can just do that and not get touched.
Right. And that's that part too. Like I said, I ain't see a TikTok or anything. But then too, like how the dude earlier that was up here, Yodi or something like that, he said something about the whole power thing. Majority of the time, some people, they don't even want the power. We just want to live. So you can't just say we can't do this, we can't do that because of power, because we just try to live and have a good time. Just think about having the celebrities and stuff like that they have the money to do whatever to run for whatever political stuff that they want to, and they choose not to. Because they rather stay out the way and just live life.
And speaking of TikTok, CJ, think about how much shit TikTok filter. Think about what's considered hate. Think about what's considered hate speech. Y'all think about that shit, man.
That's fact.
Okay.
They filter out a lot of stuff, but anybody can still say the N-word up there. That's crazy word.
That's a fact. That is a fact. Like I said, man, I actually found what Bino was referring to. It took me a while. I couldn't even find it on YouTube, believe it or not. That was like, oh no, bro, but I'm gonna share my screen and kind of let
I got to see this. I ain't heard of this one.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That was news to me, but it just happened, I think, like a day or two ago. So we can kind of watch it on X, and I'll stop it if it gets too sensitive.
2 men shot and killed after wearing Klan hoods. So apparently that's in Georgia. 2 white guys came wearing Klan hoods to an event where black people were hanging out, and they came to intimidate and do what their ancestors do, and they were sent to their ancestors. So they're dead now, in case you didn't get the reference. Yeah, that's it. That's the story. White guys came to intimidate with Klan hoods, and it backfired, and they got backfired.
Okay.
That's dumb as hell.
Yeah, so that was pretty quick. You know, I put a a sense on that, but that is literally fuck around and find out.
What? What? Yeah, what she said. What? You came to a black event.
No, but you see that sense of entitlement, that sense of power, that sense of power that they think they have, and that the good brother Yodi mentioned, which I respect. You see that? That shit don't mean nothing when you ain't feared of that shit no more.
That's a bar.
I would love to know what was the last thing going in mind. Like, oh shit, we don't fuck.
I think they probably. That's why I feel like. That's why I agree with what Bino's saying. Like the bigger picture is that the lack of fear. When niggas ain't scared of nothing, hey, shit can go left when you're not afraid of nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer of that. So I think for them to do that, they probably was from an environment or grew up in an environment where wearing this outfit does still strike fear. It would have like gave some like backlash. I wouldn't be surprised if with today's media, somebody wasn't somewhere in a tree or behind a car recording the whole thing as a prank or some shit. And before they could be like, it's a prank, bro, it's a prank. Mink, mink.
You seen the mugshot of them 2 guys?
Yeah.
They official. You could tell.
They were dead serious. Yeah, that one wasn't even a prank. That one was, from what I read, because I was trying to read the article and kind of get context behind it. But no, they intentionally showed up for that.
Yeah.
And then that's basically like them thinking that shit was gonna strike fear, and it didn't. But we definitely strike that reload button.
So those people they got arrested. Those people got arrested. They locked up.
I don't know who done it. Oh, they're locked. Oh, they did. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How early is this? When did this happen?
Like 2 days ago.
Oh wow.
Damn, bro. Where was this? I want to look.
You see how that shit ain't viral, is it? They ain't debating about that.
That's crazy.
They ain't debating about that, is it? Exactly.
Hell no.
I didn't see that covered on the beat.
Go back to what I say about media. Go back to what I say about media.
Well, I mean,
what the fuck?
I don't know. It might be a good thing because it might, strike up some more mess. You know what I'm saying? It might be good they leave that mess hush hush.
It might be a bad thing that they don't show it so they can make the rest of them sit down to let them know we're not our ancestors.
Exactly. This ain't gonna go how you think, though.
Well, what was that when I think when Trump had just got elected? Remember they did something similar? It was a group of them came to a black area and tried to intimidate. Is that kind of similar?
Yeah, that was in a hometown to where they was trying to march on the outside of the school district, and all the black people in the community armed up, and they started doing patrols.
Right, because they came through.
Detroit. Yeah, somewhere in the Midwest. I think it was in Detroit. I can't remember, y'all, but we actually covered that.
They tried to do something similar, but they only took 2 and got online behind it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But again, free speech ain't free. Sometimes it might cost you more than you're willing to pay. Be careful.
But they got some free wings.
Yeah, some free wings.
Yes.
We ain't talking about the B-dubs though.
Then I hate it for the mindset of us, the ones that's getting older, and the old ass people that's in law, because they done made us so comfortable with going to jail, y'all. They done made our culture so comfortable. It's gonna backfire on them if they try some. They made us too comfortable with going to jail. They made our young cats too. We was a little bit more scared of going to jail than our generation was, it got lesser and lesser. Them niggas is not scared, bro. We see that every day.
That's a fact.
I don't know if y'all remember when Trump first got elected, that this was also happening, where it was like people was kind of getting exposed for being like openly racist and shit. I know it's happening in California like big time. Like half of Southern California is really like Hispanics, and then like there's a small minority of like blacks and whites. But them select few whites that was around, yeah, they was quick to disrespect both the Mexicans and black folks when they could during that time when Trump was president. And I've watched motherfuckers get their ass beat at the mall, at movies, at the gas station because that entitlement was crazy. But I think that same thing is coming right back now that he's back in office again. So I think it was Bino the one that said it, that him being back plays a key point that people getting comfortable with being
And the
openly
energy he
racist.
produces, yeah. He
Yeah,
produced that energy,
his
bro, that make
presence.
it more bold, bro. You know?
Like people say that, oh, Donald Trump is not racist, he hates everybody. That's true, but it don't matter. The fact his hate is still influencing whatever they hate. And if they hate black folks, then they hate it more because the president hates everybody.
Then they get more bold because
Very bold.
yeah.
Strada, you're gonna have to send me that. I can't find it. It's showing me about KKK shootings that happened in Greensboro, North Carolina, like
Yeah, I
in
saw that too. Back
Oh,
1968.
that
in the
shit was way back.
70s.
That
Yeah,
shit
that
was
was.
way back.
I remember that. That's an old documentary.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you, bro, in the chat. All right, y'all. Let's do round robin, starting with CJ. Let's put a bow on this episode.
A solution for this? Shit.
Just all of it. Yeah.
Freedom of speech ain't free. Consequences and repercussions may apply. So either you gonna say it and accept what comes with it, or shut the fuck up. There's a lot of words in the encyclopedia. Like you better use a different one. And as far as the people that decide they want to continue to say those words, stay safe in your bubble, all right? Because one of these days somebody gonna pop that shit. Yeah, that's it. I land my plane. Yeah.
All right, I'll take off.
I'm trying to find this KKK shit.
Look, I'm gonna say, reevaluate your beliefs, your values, things of that nature, to try to create a positive environment. Not only that, but with your kids too. I be mindful, like CJ said, be mindful of your choice of words because they actually do have consequences. But I'm more in the place of trying to create a more positive and conducive environment. So if you can do that, I think that'd be a way ahead. Because like you said, like Bino said multiple times, we're not our ancestors. The world is looking different nowadays. So if you can create a positive environment, just do so. I'll land there.
Brittany, what you got?
What I got is, if you can avoid a situation, do it. But if it confronts you, just know shit ain't always sweet, and it is what it is. And my people don't mind going to jail from what I'm hearing. I don't mind putting money on their GoFundMe. So y'all tread lightly when it comes to using that word and being out here thinking that y'all can just say it and we just gonna roll over.
That's a bar. That's a bar. Bino, what you got, Brody?
Shit. I say this. I don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but what I think I know and what we all know is that I ain't never heard of old folk tell a lie that came from the heart and from the wise. And I'm old at this point. That's what they say, right? So look, I'm gonna say this. Pick a motherfucking side. And guess what? It might not happen while we still walking this earth in health and wealth. But if you raising a family, make sure they know they gonna have to pick a side. And that don't necessarily mean you gotta get physical. You might have to be very mental. You're gonna have to be in the military. You're gonna have to be a doctor. You're gonna have to be a lawyer. We're gonna have to raise judges. We're gonna have to raise politicians, right? But for the side of us, right? But make sure they know they're gonna have to pick a side. Make sure y'all know the ones that's ready to fight, we're gonna have to pick a side. And I promise you, if you pick the other side, you done pick the wrong side. I'm gonna tell you that right now before I leave this earth. You done pick the wrong side. If you don't believe, I'll tell you this, go watch Black Panther. Cause that's my good, cause that's what I believe. This ain't our last destination. And if it get to a point where we got to do what we got to do, pick a side. And like I say, they don't got to be physical. It's 10% physical, everything else mental, right? So like I say, once again, I'm gonna reiterate: politicians, judges, lawyers, doctors, fuck a singing, fuck rapping, fuck shooting a goddamn basketball. We got enough of them. We made plenty of money off of it. Ain't got us nowhere.
It's a bar.
I'll land right there.
I like it. I think that like I said, this show is so important to let people know that, again, there's a war going on consciously and subconsciously. Check.